All right.
Recording in progress.
All right, so hi, everyone who's at home and has been waiting patiently. I had an issue here with connecting both computers at the same time and it kept kicking me out. I keep thinking that we're done with issues, but now I know do not start both computers at the same time. Start one, join, and then join the other one. Anyway, so now I'll join with the second one. Okay, you all remember to turn off your sounds in here?
Recording in progress.
And perfect. So go. And there we go. And now I can close this one and close this one. Okay. It's complicated. All right. Hi, everyone.
Good morning.
Can't hear. I have a feeling something's wrong because I haven't heard anyone from home yet. Can someone from home say something to see if your sounds are
Yeah,
I'm at home.
okay? Try again.
we're here.
There we go.
Suzanne, I'm at home.
I have a big microphone going to speakers going to the whole room and they had been turned down. So you were talking and the sound was okay, but the volume was down. So now I can hear you guys. All right. Hello. How's everyone
Hello.
doing back at home?
Yeah,
So-
hi, Deanna. Becky and I haven't been logged in yet. One of our 3 machines got admitted, but not the other 2.
I don't have anyone right now waiting in the waiting room. This is
Okay, we'll re-log in.
yeah, right now I've let in everyone who seems to be in the waiting room. But well, Becky, there comes Becky, enter waiting room. There she is. I think there's a lag between when you sign in and between I get it, because there you go. I just got Becky and I just let her in. Okay. I don't. Out of curiosity, how much sooner had Becky connected until I said here she is, just to know how long you guys wait before I see you.
Owen's in now. No,
Well, she wanted to know how long you had connected.
I just connected.
We had just
You
connected.
had just connected. Oh, okay, because you had said that you were waiting. Okay. Hi, everyone. Go to the chat, please, and say hello. So I want to say that I am so impressed with everyone in this room. Every single one of the people here in this room not only figured out the connection, but if they didn't, one of the neighbors helped them. So you guys are incredible. Look at the learning curve, okay? I'm gonna put you all on the main board and I'm gonna turn the camera around. Here you guys can see the whole class. And Maria isn't here today, but we have a bunch of people now. We have 7, 8 people who are coming in person. So we started with 4 of you guys. So anyway, I'm gonna move this over there. You guys at home don't know what I'm doing, but I'm shifting so that people in the room see you on a different screen. There you go. So, all right, nice. Okay. I didn't send you guys any particular homework, or I didn't give you guys any particular homework after this last session. Just asking to make sure that you would be all caught up. And for new people to know how to access handouts and practice that. So if anyone missed last class, hold on, I'm connecting my phone. And if we talk today about things that you might have missed, please make a point of catching up with last week's recording, because now I want to try to keep moving forward instead of doing a lot of review each time. And I'm happy to re-explain things, but not to start from 0 with people who happen to not be here. So remember that even though we're in person, we're doing kind of the best of all worlds. People love the online courses because I recorded them. And now I'm in person and recording them. So there's no excuse to not having seen them. Now, if you don't understand something, if you need things repeated, just because logically things get learned and then need to be re-explained, that is totally fine. But please, if you miss a portion of the class, do go back and watch the recordings, okay? And now I have some people joining us who weren't here last week. So anyway, Julie, your hand is up.
Yes, I watched the recording Tuesday night
Yeah.
and it got stuck. It was right after you talked about going to the play. And a couple people said, oh yeah, the senior rate, blah, blah, blah. And then there was just a gray circle and I could not get past it. I went out and came back in and stopped at the same spot. So that was very weird because I've looked at some of the other recordings and never had a problem.
Did anyone else try to watch the recording and the same thing happened, just to see if this was the recording that I need to reabsorb, or if it was just a Julie download problem? No? All right.
I clicked on the link that you sent in the email. I did not go back, to the
Well,
pipeline one.
No, that's fine. It's the same link. It's,
Yeah.
okay, so I know that there's people here. Oh, by the way, hi, Marcia. Nice to, well, not see you, but nice to see your name in there today. So I was just talking about that if someone misses a class, they should watch the recording. And I'm aware of people who are here who missed last week. And Julie is the only one reporting having had it disconnect, but I don't know if she's also the only one who watched it, not last week, last class. So can you send me an email? If something like that ever happens, let me know, because then I can go and re-upload it. I mean, I can go check it, tell me if it's not working, just to see if it was Julie or if it was the recording. But I can always re-download it and re-upload it if necessary. And then I have to change. The only issue with that is I need to change the link. So anyone who links to the email after that would not find it. So I want to first test it. But anyway,
Do you
send me a
want me-
quick message so that I can remember to go back.
Okay,
Yeah, because so that I can go this after class today, I'll go check that.
so I'll send you an email, not do it on the chat. Okay,
Yeah, because the chat disappears. Send me an email. And if you remember at what point it stopped, like, was it 10 minutes and half an hour and whatever, because that way I can check to see if it stopped without having to run through the 3.5 hours.
right. I'll look at it again, but it
Was it
was
at the
when you talked
beginning?
about seeing the play
I
and
just don't
then,
remember right now if I did that at the beginning or halfway.
no, it was partway through. It was like after an hour. Yeah.
Okay, all right, so that gives me an idea of where to check. All right, great. Thank you. So so if this is the only person who encountered that problem, that's one thing. But since I don't know if anyone else watched it, I'm gonna have to go check it. But if someone watched the whole way through and it was fine, then let me know. All right, so I'm putting my recording over here. Give me a second. All right, so what we were working with last week. Let me share my screen. I keep saying last week again for people new to the class. Remember, I say last week, I always mean last class. I've never mind. I don't know why. I know I keep apologizing for it, but I know I'll keep doing it. So just no, I always mean last class or next class. Okay. The last time we met, we were talking about our files, what we have on our computers, and how to manage the stuff. And I showed you guys how to begin to understand what's on your computer through that manage portion in the storage of the about my Mac. So I'm going to show you again how to do that so that we can all go to that place. So we'll go up to the Apple and go to About This Mac. Top left of your screen, go to the Apple icon, About This Mac. And here you will get the basic information about this Mac. We did a lot of work with this over the last few classes. So now head over to the storage. And here we are. We'll wait for the storage to recalculate. And for those of you who are in your seats here at school, if you don't have your laptop with you, then go ahead and hit escape on your Zoom so it fills only half your screen so that you can do this. on your computers, okay? So Milton, hit your escape. For Zoom becomes there. So then Zoom goes over there. You know, and now this is you on your computer. Okay. And here you have what you're looking at. In the view broad, let's get this. escape here, so that it moves over a bit. There we go. And now. There, and then now you go up here, say about this map. And then the rest of you guys, okay, and then hit that escape key. Okay, so now here, now you can close this, go here to this thing. Close it, go a little bit higher and go minimize it. Go to the yellow one. Yeah, and now go to your Apple. And say about this. Or you in this case, you can do this on your computer, and this is just a watcher, so you can meditate. Okay. All right, so I have some people here at school who have their own computers, but then other people who are using the school computer. So I have to divide in between who is just watching and who is actually doing. So that's why I was just doing. Okay. Sorry. I need to start with my lozenges early on today. Yes, Rod? Okay, so look over here. You are in overview. Okay, so what you need to do, same you, Radine and Milton, you need to head over to the word storage. And then you're in there. So you were already there from last time. All right, so all right, so Marcia, just as a reminder, what computer do you have? I believe I need to open the chat in this computer. Give me a second. I'm putting it over here so that I can see what you guys are writing. All right, I wasn't looking, I didn't have the chat handy. Remember everyone to go to the chat, even if you're here at school, also go into the chat and give me a little hello. If you don't know how to do that, then I can go in and give you a hand, but here you are, click on the, when it's tiny, click on the more, yeah, click on more. And then there's your chat, click on chat. There you go, and then say, hi, I'm here. But then it occupies like, yeah, just type in hi. Now, when that occupies so much of your space, go here to the, click on more, because you've made Zoom so tiny. that it's got back to that. Yeah, and then give me a little, oh, I'm here. But then you can minimize that again because it's in your way otherwise. All right. So I don't know if you heard me, Marcia. I'm trying to remember what kind of oh, I know. Yeah, it's an Air, but what version of operating system do you have? Okay, so over here under storage is where we ended up, but the first thing, and I kind of have an idea of what's in the class, but I don't remember if you're upgraded or not, or if you have an older one, et cetera, et cetera. So just so that I know to point it out. All right, so I'm gonna hit here storage again, which is where we had left it off. And just so you all know, I went ahead and put, after yesterday's class, I went ahead and put, let me share this screen for a second. But in our handouts, sharing my handout screen for a minute, so you guys can stay where you are, but I'm gonna change share to the handouts. Here we go. In our handouts, I put a couple new handouts in here, but one of them is, did it not upload? Yeah, so I made this one. Remember last week I had put on the board the size comparisons. I went ahead and made a chart of it so that everyone could have access to it. And I actually added something that I hadn't said last week, which is we're not in our regular computers using it petabytes, but that's what'll come next. And terabytes and gigabytes and megabytes, these three here are the ones that we are using now. So what do I mean by that? When I first started working in the world of computers, we dreamed of computers that had 300 megabytes. It was like, oh my God, how crazy is that? Oh, those things are humongous. And oh, thank you. And then as time went by, megabytes became this tiny little thing. And we moved into having computers that had gigabytes. Now computers have terabytes. So soon we're going to end up with petabytes, but we're not there at this level. But people who do, I don't know, editing movies with animation and stuff like that, they're way into petabytes right now. So these are just sizes of information and storage. Okay. Now, why I was pointing to this is because I mentioned that your hard drives would be probably one of these guys. You would either have 125 gigabytes or 250 gigabytes or 500 gigabytes or 1 terabyte. So these numbers here are the ones that your hard drives probably would have. These, the first 4 yellow ones, that would be the size of your computers. Now, why does this matter? Because that's how much stuff you can store in your computer. So if you bought a computer that has 125 gigabyte space, you can store much less stuff than someone who has 1 terabytes worth of space. Like some of us live in a 1-bedroom house or in a 5-bedroom house, right? You can store much more stuff. Basically, it's really all it is. So what happens is that you need to be much more careful with your stuff when you have a smaller hard drive. And most of you guys ended up somewhere in between a 250 or a 500, but people with MacBook Airs that are a little bit older tend to have 125 gigabytes. So these 3 are the most typical ones. And then just a few of you guys might have 1 terabyte. So it's usually around here that people's hard drives exist. All right. So the goal of our class is to get rid of junk, stuff that we truly don't need, right? Imagine, I always say, imagine you have well, there's junk that's bad, and then there's junk that's just junk. So bad, I mean, imagine in your trash can in the kitchen, you don't get rid of it, it still start to smell because there's food, there's junk in there, it needs to get out of there, it ruins your, you know, you get maggots, who knows what happens if you leave it all in there. Versus there's the office trash, that's just papers that accumulates, right? That if it stays in there forever, you just overflow. So, you know, there's the bad stuff we want to get rid of, and then there's the too much, I don't need stuff we need to get rid of, right? So we're gonna identify that. And then once we begin to know what to get rid of, then we can look again and say, okay, is there still more stuff in here that now is truly important for me? I don't want to get rid of this anymore, but I need more space. In which case you need to buy an extra storage, you know, like those pods that come in to people's garden. You need to actually have extra storage space, which would be buying another hard drive and putting some stuff off your computer. And the reason you need that is because for the computer to work well, you need some empty space. It's not like you can use your full 500 gigabytes. Your computer will just grind, it won't work. So say you have 500 gigabytes worth of space. Well, you better not have, let's say, the max you could probably have and it still work, but working with trouble would be 450 gigabytes of stuff. You have 50 gigabytes left. Depending on what programs you use, it'll be grinding slowly through its chores. It'll still work. But then after that, at some point, it'll just say it can't function. Because just to open a program, it just needs empty space to function. So you don't really have 500 gigabytes worth of space for your stuff. And the system itself takes up maybe another 50 gigabytes. So, you know, it all begins to shrink as to how much stuff you can have. All right. So one rule of thumb is something I'm going to teach you in Mac level 2, but you also need to back up all this stuff, because if your computer stops working, where does all this stuff go? You need to actually have it backed up. So keep an eye on what size your hard drive is, and know that for next session, if you have never made a backup, I will ask you to be buying, so you can start now looking, because we have still 4 weeks to go. So you can look for sales and stuff now. It's a great season for sales before the holidays, and buy a portable hard drive that's at least twice the size of your computer's hard drive. Okay, so if your computer's hard drive is at 250 gigabytes, you'll want to have at least a 500. I would recommend a 1 terabyte extra hard drive. And so if you have a 500 gigabytes, at least a 1 terabyte or a 2 terabyte hard drive. So what you need to buy, and I'm putting that name in the chat, is in, oh, hold on, the chat right here, and external or portable hard drive, at least twice the size of your computer's, let's call it internal, because that's what it is, a hard drive. Okay, so if you look at your chat, I just wrote that, so take a little photograph of that or a chat, but you need to buy a portable hard drive that's at least twice the size of this number. Now, I'm going to go back to, where do you find this number? Over here in the area where you say overview, sorry, in storage. Hold on, my mouse. Go back to the mouse. Every time I change my share, my mouse changes. Okay, so over here it tells you, in this case, 500 gigabyte. So if this computer, my computer, says 500 gigabytes, then I need to buy a hard drive that's at least what size?
1 terabyte.
At least 1 terabyte for me, for my computer. And ideally maybe 2 terabytes, right? Just a bit more doesn't hurt. But at least twice the size. Is that clear, you guys?
Diana, why does it have to be twice the size?
Hold on, in the chat. If you look at the chat, I put the message, which works for people who are online. Hold on, I'm noticing that people who are here in the class don't see it. There it is in the chat. I don't know if you can see it. I wrote external portable hard drive. Can you guys see? Oh, hold on, I'm checking in with people in the class. Can you guys see this chat?
I don't even know if that's in the chat.
Hit return. Click in there now again. No, click in there, and you're writing it, and then hit return.
That's in it.
Yeah, and that was it.
You already did.
And now- No, it said no. It's here.
Oh, okay.
Okay, all right. So here in the chat, it shows up, like I just scroll it up, you got a new message. Yeah. Yeah, the bottom and there's this stuff. They keep showing you that. Because it's such a tiny the chat. See it at the bottom. Okay. Sorry, I had to show the way the people here have Zoom minimized because they're using their own computers, but they couldn't see the chat. All right, so okay, so why, someone had asked why double the size? And
Yeah.
again, this is a conversation that we're going to spend in depth next class talking about this, but let me just say that we're going to use some software called Time Machine. Many of you guys have already set it up. And Time Machine, it copies all your data, right? So you would think, okay, all you need is the same amount, but then it grows as it registers any changes. So it needs to grow, and for it to last a year or 2 or 3, the more hard drive space you have, the more years you can have that same hard drive in your backup. Okay, so that's why you want to have a hard drive that's, I think it's double. And then if you buy something bigger, it won't hurt. Smaller will hurt. It'll last a much less time. Some people in this class have had their hard drive, external hard drive set up since 2017. The other day I was talking to someone last time I taught this. So, but he had a really huge one, so it keeps working. But once it fills up, it fills up. So a smaller fills up sooner. Now, when I'm saying go buy this, I'm going to explain how and where and all of that. This is part of Mac level 2. But if you guys are already looking, just go to Costco, go to all that kind of places, Best Buy, wherever you go, ask for portable hard drives, and now you know to look for maybe 1 terabyte or 2 terabyte. And to say the truth, it's impossible anymore to find things that are smaller than 1 terabyte. Really as hard drives, because again, as things grow. So even if you have a 125 gigs, you might as well buy a 1 to 2 terabyte hard drive, because at this point, they're almost the same price, and there just aren't any small ones. People don't have smaller ones than that. So you might find that for those of you who really should only buy a 500 gigabyte, that there is no portable hard drive, but you need to go up to 1 terabyte or 2 to be able to find one at a decent price. Yeah.
You said either external or portable.
Well, external portable means the same thing, because it lives outside of your computer, and because of that, it's portable. So some people call them portable, some call it external, but it's exactly the same thing. The what? Price range, $60 to $140, depending on what size. And about yay size, yeah. You can get them on Amazon, you can get them anywhere, but between 60 and 140, depending on what size you're choosing to buy. So Julie is mentioning that Mac Mechanic also sells them, and I want to mention Mac Mechanic because Mac Mechanic is the only place I ever recommend people to go to. Well, other than the Apple Store, if your computers are not working or something's happening. Again, I don't have any relationship to this store, but every time someone goes there, they come back saying that they're just awesome, right? Versus I hear horror stories from people who came to fix my computer and now it's not working. So I'm not gonna say bad things about others. I'm gonna say if your computer's not working, go to Mac Mechanic, because they're just always, it's on upper state. Now, if you have a new computer, of course, go to the Apple Store. But anyone who's got an older computer, they're trying to nurse through stuff. If you go to the Apple Store, for better or for worse, love them, but they're going to try to tell you, oh, you need a new computer. But if you go to the Mac Mechanic, they'll fix your old computer, right? So depending on what your computer is, whether one or another. But of course, always try first with Apple. Call Apple. You can call Apple and they can help you work through your problems. If that doesn't work, then go to the Mac Mechanic, all right? And Mac Mechanic also sells things. And so in this case, Julie's mentioning that she got her hard drive at Mac Mechanic.
So I just want to make sure for myself. So mine says 250 gigabytes. So I want like a 500, and you're saying it's probably
Go what,
just
to
about
a
1
terabyte or 2, yeah. Now.
Deanna?
One last thing, and normally I talk about this in Mac level 2, but I want you guys to start having this information now, and then after that, we'll move on to something else. But also, there's a possibility that you guys need more space because your computer's so full that you don't want to get rid of junk. If you don't want to get rid of junk, then you need to put stuff, I mentioned stuff somewhere else. That somewhere else will be another one of these. So you might need another one just to hold more stuff. But we'll wait and see after the end of this class how it goes, whether you have too much stuff that's not stuff you might want to throw away. Then you also need another external hard drive to put stuff in, separate from the one that does your backup. But let's wait and have that conversation once we finish this level 1, where we're going to be sorting through all the stuff, organizing, and then you'll discover, oh, a lot of this was junk. Now I have a lot of space, or it looks like I need to take a big chunk of this and put it somewhere else. Then it's exactly the same thing. You need to buy a portable hard drive. At good point, I recommend buying the biggest one that you can afford at this point, because basically it's like if you have, you just have more space. So why not have a lot more space, right? Anyway, so yes, Julie, you had a question?
No, just 2 more comments about Mac Mechanic. If you have a desktop, I believe they make house calls. I don't know what they charge.
Oh,
And the other thing is, in their physical office on Upper State, there is a little side thing that somebody else does the PC. So if somebody has both, they're in the same office. I just don't know how that
yes.
works.
Thank you so much, Julie, by the way. Whenever people have PCs for years, they've been asking where to fix them. And I've been like, I don't know, because I really have no one I could trust. But a few years ago, I think over the pandemic, a PC fixing business is now part of their same business. They're separate because their machines are so separate. So when you go in, one desk is PC. But I read an interview because they got Best of at the Independent, and they said they're actually the same business. They just, of course, have different mechanics and stuff. So if anyone has a PC or asks you about a PC, send them to the Mac Mechanic, which seems strange because it's Mac Mechanic, but I think their portion of the business has a different name, but it's basically Mac Mechanic. Mac Mechanic used to be owned by some local person, by people who worked, and then when they retired, they sold the business to the workers, so they own it, so it's very much, local people doing good. So yeah, thanks for that.
Can I give a
Um,
shout out?
Yeah,
At the start of the pandemic, my PC crashed and Best Buy's where I bought it and it was past the warranty. I took it into Best Buy, into a Mac
Mac
Mechanic,
Mechanic,
because I always thought I'd want to get MacBook Air
yeah,
for photography, and they were able to transfer my stuff
mhm,
over here.
yeah.
So that was the saving grace.
Yeah, so you can, yeah, they can handle your old PC to transfer your stuff to your Mac, I mean, basically that they can really help you with a lot of good stuff. So, so I don't know if you heard, Jeanette over there at home, but she was mentioning that her PC died. She went to the Mac Mechanic and they transferred all her stuff from her dead PC. They were able to save it and put it on her Mac. So, on a new Mac that she bought, and they transferred the stuff. So, yeah. Anyway, so let's head over now. This is where we were. This is where we ended last week. No, we didn't end it here. We actually went from here to say, okay, how do I look at all the stuff I have? And where do I see how to manage it? And so over here, the word manage, right there, click on that. And that's what where we're going to go. And I'm going to share a different window because it all appears in a different window and I need to share again. Here you go. Oh, I hate that this. Every time I change my share, my little mouse spotlight turns into a pencil and starts writing. Okay. So here we go. I had on this computer that has very little stuff because it's my school computer. I discovered that I have 62 gigabytes worth of applications, 7.8, almost 8 gigabytes worth of documents, and I have a gigabyte worth of stuff in the trash. So we talked about how many of you guys have many more things in here. Depending on what's installed in your computer, you're going to have different information. And I'm going to open up the same thing on my laptop so that I can share a sample that has more stuff. I'm changing my share now, actually to this other computer. And here we go. So this computer here now, for those of you who are here at school, now you need to watch the stuff that I'm putting on the computer on the Zoom on your screens, because I'm sharing my other computer that doesn't display on the board. Okay. All right. So sorry that I'm like slurping away, but lately I've been losing my voice, and Jeanette gave me remove the cans over a lozenge. So I'm kind of being a bit sloppy as I speak, but I need to keep my voices gone. So
I always have them.
Linda and Jeanette have been supplying me. It's okay. Every time my voice starts breaking, they bring me a lozenge up to the desk. So thank you. But this is early for the class for me to already have been losing my voice. So, oh well. All right. So here's an example of more stuff that's in here. And Carol shared hers where she had even more stuff, where she had, we talked a lot about one of the items. We talked about messages last class. So if all of this is very new to you and you haven't seen this, please, please, please watch the recording of last week's class, last Tuesday's class. We spent a lot of time specifically on messages, and I showed you how to clear messages and what all that meant. So I'm going to not repeat that conversation, but I do want to ask, are there questions that you guys found out when you went to discover this yourselves? Yes, Pam?
No, I need help.
Okay, give me a second, guys. I need to go help someone.
Oh, okay, so that's. Okay, allow. Make video. Now, I'm getting that little bing mean you're arriving. Okay.
I'm gonna let you in. No, that's fine. And there you go. Now make sure to turn the sound off.
Say one, audio. This is first, okay, got it. And then. if I need to go down, then I pay attention. Or is that an arrow? Arrow. That's arrow. Yeah. Okay, thank you. You're welcome.
Mhm. All right. So, I'm back. And, okay, give me a second. Anyone in, one sec. I need to change this so that I can see everyone. It's, when hold on, because I need to be able to see the class in case people have questions in the room when I share my other screen. All right.
Yeah, so. You're in the right spot. Let's, oh, no, you're, okay, so wrap this. From a little bit higher up. And this is different from that area that's neutral. Yeah. And drag it a bit. There we go. So, it's manage. That's where we're at now.
I want to explain that Radine does not have a computer, so she's doing this. She has an iPhone, a tablet. She's doesn't really have stuff on her phone to manage, on her computer to manage. But while we're doing this portion, she's game to follow through. But people who are next to her, you might need to explain things that might seem to you basic, but she's doing amazing.
Other than the fact, that she's never had one. Now go again up to this area that's neutral. Drag it over so you can see. And here's me showing you stuff, and this appears to work.
Okay, so, all right. I'm getting to the place where the lozenge really wants to be chewed and I'm trying not to chew it. I'm still trying to talk without slurping too much. Okay. So, so one thing that I said here is that when you go to each one of these, you can see, and I told you, don't get rid, don't, use this yet today to do a lot of dangerous stuff, but begin to get yourself, so to say, accustomed to these things. You have many more places in your computer than these that have things, but these are the ones that at least your computer believes you might have things that you can delete things from, so to say. It's possible that you have, there's other areas of your computer that hold materials, what I'm trying to say. There's a system folder, there's like many, there's music, there's other folders that might not be appearing here, but normally those would be folders where you shouldn't have anything that's deletable. Now, by mistake, some of you guys do put some of your stuff in some of those folders. So we'll find a different way to access our stuff in the future. We'll get there. But right now, whatever this is showing you is stuff that your computer says from here, you could delete things. So what it's showing you here isn't going to make you delete things that would be dangerous for you to kill your computer. You know what I'm trying to say? If you delete things from here, your computer will still work, but it might be that it still works, but it doesn't allow you to function. Maybe you use Google Chrome all the time, and when you click applications, if you were to delete Google Chrome, you won't be able to use Google Chrome anymore. So be careful what you delete, right? But other than that, it's not giving you access to the kind of stuff that if you mess with this, the computer will stop working. So in that sense, it's kind of safe. Now, I just want to say that in this example, I am having a line here which says other users, system, and other. Okay. Most of you guys should not have other users other than Suzanne. And by the way, Suzanne, how did that work? Are you here? I'm looking for Suzanne. I saw her come in. Okay. Yeah, she was here. Dropped out. I'm looking at the chat and she said hi. Okay, Suzanne had another user. Remember we talked about that last class? Anyway. So other users would only, in this case, I have 17 gigabytes of stuff from another user. As you can see, I have no access to it. Like I cannot delete stuff that someone else put in the computer through this way. So I can't trash, I have no access in any way once I'm inside of this user to that person's stuff, whoever that other person might be. But I also have something here that says system and something that says other. Now, many of you might have that, many of you might not on your computer. So if you see system and other, give me a yes on your answer. Give me a little yes. Now, those of you who here at school have a school computers, you guys don't have a system and an other yet. You have enough stuff. So I'm gonna have to jump through the last little bit so I can speak. 1 second. Okay. So those of you at home, give me a big yes with your reactions. And those of you who have laptops here, because now I'm asking about your own computers, give me a yes. And if you haven't seen how to do that yet, go to your computer, to the Zoom, the general Zoom that we're all working on, and go to the reactions. And a yes would be give me a green check mark, and a no would be a red X. Okay. All right. Here, let's hit escape again because it was so big. Yeah. Now go to the reactions. And then give me a green check. Reactions? Oh, no, I don't know. Oh, yes, or not.
I do, I actually.
Okay. Oh, and you have another user. Okay, so then you say no.
Yeah, I see I could change it. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
So I said yes, but you just said
You had system, another yes, so then you get yes. Okay, and those of you who don't have that, yeah, gotcha. Those answers, no, perfect. Did you? At the end. Perfect, that's great. Okay, so here's the thing. Those people who have very new computers or with very little stuff doesn't have don't have a system or an others. And okay, so I'm reading a comment that someone made. 2 comments. The first one, Vera saying you have system grayed out. Yes, see, mine is grayed out too. See, like that, it's not accessible. So it should be grayed out. Okay. And then other users should be grayed out. Is there anything else that's grayed out here that I don't see? Then let me know.
I have a
Lawrence
separate line for Mac OS. You can ignore my first message. I was actually looking at yours, not mine.
Oh, okay, great. So you have another one here that says Mac OS. Okay, so, and I see your question, Marsha, give me a sec. So if your stuff is under this line and it's grayed out, that is stuff that if you mess with it, for example, in my case, other users, it's someone else's, I'm not allowed to mess with it, or system. Yeah, I wouldn't want to mess with the system. So it's grayed out. It's not giving me access to it. You see? So system is how much your computer needs to run itself. So in this case, it's using 11.23 gigabytes in order to run. So that's stuff that you can't you can't minimize. That's the system, right? So that's the operating system.
Diane, I don't even have
Depending on
it
your
listed.
Yeah, so some of you don't have it listed, some do. That's why I wanted to see who had it or who not. Like in my other computer, I don't have it listed, and on this one I do. No, now my question to you guys, those of you who say, no, you do not have it listed. So in this case, it would be, I'm only seeing people who said no are people who are in this classroom. So, but now I hear Barbara, you're saying that you don't have it either, so I don't see a no from you.
Okay.
So if you, Carol, I don't see your answer. So do you see a line with some grayed out stuff? Because I want to see, my guess is that computers that are very new or have very few things don't see it and others do, but I just want to make sure if that's so, or if it's a Monterey thing, because I can't tell. Here, let me show you guys. I'm gonna share. I'm gonna stop my share. Hold on. And I'm gonna show you what my other computer is showing.
Where?
This is my Mac that has almost nothing in it. This is the computer screen, and it only has 3 lines: applications, documents, and trash. But then there's a line, and then it says Mac OS, which is what Owen said, and system data. And these system data and Mac OS are taking up 55, 75, 80 gigabytes worth of stuff that on a computer that has 500 gigabytes total, that means that about, let's say 100 gigabytes worth of stuff that is unmutable, unchangeable, that the computer needs to run. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So depending on how much you have down here, really it's whatever's left is stuff that's yours and that you can handle and that you can decide to keep or to not, to get rid of or not. Okay. So Barbara, do you have a computer at this point that's really new or?
Well,
very
I
empty?
think it's 2 years old now, but I can't send you a reaction, so I typed it in.
Oh,
I don't know why.
That's fine. So what does it say?
Just no.
Barbara, it says no. Okay. Annette is asking me, and Marcia, I know you have a question, but hold on, I'm still trying to handle these kind of questions. My list does not include trash. How can I add it to the list? Annette, you can't add anything to this list. If maybe your trash is empty right now, then there's nothing you can delete from the trash, then it doesn't appear. If your
No, it's
trash
not,
is
it's not empty.
Okay.
It's not
so
empty.
I'm saying maybe it's because of that, maybe not. You can't add anything here.
Oh,
but
okay.
This is whatever
Okay.
your computer chooses to pick up. My
Okay.
trash does show up on both of mine, but I don't know what, maybe it has to have a certain amount of space or it needs to be something that's trashable. We're gonna go and discover these things on our own in a minute. We're gonna go find all these places on our own. When you use this system that just says manage and it shows you what it shows you, that's all you can manage from here. So I am not sure. I've tried to read up on this, but there's nothing when I go to try to read up on this for different systems, it just says when you go to manage, you will see everything that's manageable. So all I'm thinking is that on different systems, different availabilities, it shows you different things that, because we have our computer set up differently, because nothing tells me why on one computer I see trash and another that has trash, it doesn't see it. You know what I'm trying to say? So I'm kind of don't have the answer and all I can look is my computers and my computers are showing it, right? And when I ask, some people see it, some people don't see it. All I know is that the stuff that you can't access is grayed out, right? And that what you should be able to access is on the top. That's really the only answer I can give you at this point. So what I do know, let me hide some stuff here, is that this tool is an easier way to handle your stuff than how I used to teach it. So now I'm teaching this tool first, but I will teach you the longer way around. So you'll know 2 different ways to get you to your stuff. but I just want to say that in here, I do not see anything that says iCloud or Cloud or iCloud Drive or stuff like that. On the other hand, on my other computer, and now let me share my other computer screen. I do see here something that says iCloud Drive. Okay, so here I see photos, while on my other one I don't. And the other one's photos aren't set up, but these are set up. So it depends on what you have set up on your computer. So if you don't have your photo set up because you're not using it, then it won't appear, like my other computer doesn't. But this one does, same with the cloud, et cetera, et cetera. So all I know is that the stuff in this computer that's available has it, stuff that doesn't have it. That's as good as I can say. Now, why this matters is because from here, we can look at stuff that we truly don't need. So if I head over to trash, right, from here, I don't trash anything from here at all right now. I want you to look at the trash. So if you see trash, right, I know Annette just said she doesn't see trash. Ooh, hold on, Becky, that's pretty dangerous. Becky just said the one file in her trash is photos library. That, wow, the wowza. That is your photos library. It should not be in your trash. And I don't, but I'd have to see whether you still have a photos library in your computer. Because that would be all of your photos. So that's kind of scary. Normally I don't, I walk, you guys know that ever since I've been here in this hybrid, I'm having you share a bit less because we have been doing classes that didn't need to deal with your stuff yet. So like Mac, intro to Mac, most of you guys didn't have to share your screen. But you all know that when you're in a class where you're dealing with your things, what I've asked you to do is to share your screen if I need to see your stuff, right? So that I can help you here. I can walk behind people's computers, but at home. So don't take this as for those of you who haven't been through this before, sharing your screen is the only way I can look at something that I consider either I have no idea what your question is or I need to see to help you. So Becky, do you remember how to share your screen? Has it been a while?
Have to figure it out again.
Okay, no, but I can walk you through it. Do you see the big share screen button?
Yes.
Okay, it's 2 steps, right? So first click on the share screen button. And then once that one has been clicked, on the bottom right of the window that pops up next, there's another little window that says share, and it's a blue button with white letters that says just the word share.
And it gives us like 6 choices. You want desktop 1?
I want desktop, at this point, I want desktop because I want to be able to see different things. So hit on the word share. Now, if you haven't shared before, or if it's been a while, it might say that you need to go to your system preferences. Are you getting that message?
Yes.
Okay, so click yes or go or open, whatever. I think it says open system preferences. You got to tell me when it's done so I can keep telling you instructions. Did you open system preferences?
Well, it opened it to security and privacy and
Yeah,
it talks.
perfect. Okay, good. Now go to the bottom left of that window and there's a lock. Click on that lock and put in your password, your computer's password, the one you use to unlock your password when you open it up. When that's done, let me know. So this process that they're doing, you only have to do one time to give your computer permission to share its screen. And then after that, it's done. But if you haven't shared in a long time, or if you updated your Zoom, it might ask you to do this again. Okay, good. And then you can open up. So this is Becky's computer now. All right. So it's your photos library. So now what I'm going to ask you to do is go over to your dock on the left and open a Finder window. Yeah. And on the go to, you see on the left side, you have a highlighted something that says recents. Go down 3 to the word pictures. Keep going down. Click on pictures. There's your photos library. So you have 2 photos libraries. Okay. Double click on that photos library for a second on the inside. Yeah, double click on it. I just want to make sure. No. See, it's assuming it's saying that get started, like your photos library is missing. Did you ever use your photos library, by the way?
Yeah, I'm not sure. At one point, when we got this computer last year, it converted from the old photos to the new photos. They
Okay,
have,
go ahead and say get started. Let's see if it's picking up your photos or not. Go ahead and say get started if you haven't used it yet. Otherwise, this is a. Okay, this means you only have 3 photos in here, which means this is not good. This is not probably your photos library, right? So close that. And now let's go to your trash and retrieve your stuff. So go down to the bottom. Yeah, let's, you can't, not from there. Go to your actual trash on the left side on your dock. Go down, down, down until you hit your trash, which is kind of, no, yeah. And now right click on that. Right click and say, put. Oh, you don't have a put back. Okay, then go ahead and drag it back. Scroll, yeah, scroll on the left side, scroll all the way to see pictures and then drag it and put it back in pictures. Yeah, you need to, yeah, there we go. No, you're not right click, just left click to drag it. Huh. Interesting.
it doesn't seem to be working, but we'll do it later.
It's not, it's weird. Why wouldn't it not? Okay. Are you doing with a left click? Yeah, and it's not dragging. Okay. That's weird. It's got 22 gigabytes, so it's got a lot of photos in there. Oh, there it is. Okay. And then down, down, down to pictures, 1 to up, 1 down. There, let it go. Go ahead and say replace, because you know the other one, or keep both if you want. No, don't keep both. The other one had 3 photos. Say replace.
Because again, I think what happened is at one point we did end up with 2 because, as it said, there's a newer item.
All right, go ahead and say keep both, but the other one we opened it had 3 photos in it. So say keep both, but it's confusing when you have more than one. If both are valid, the other one wasn't valid. There was nothing in it, but anyway. Okay. All right. Now, the important thing here isn't what I did to save, what I did tell him to do. He's already taken this class. He knows how to handle his files. So he just followed instructions. Most of you guys who have never done this wouldn't know how to do what I just told him to do. But that's too important of a file to mess up. I just had to have him do it, even if we were in the middle of the class. Now, what he just did is what you'll all know how to do by the end of this session. This, not today, but the next few classes. So that file holds all 22 gigabytes worth of photos, right? So I just wanted him to get out of the trash. But the good news is that they discovered it because they used this managed file. They clicked on trash and found it there. Whereas before, a lot of people just empty their trash without thinking about it. And I really want to set it to let you know, guys, do not delete your trash without checking it. Because can you imagine if they had gone, oh, it's my trash, let me empty it. They would have just deleted 22 gigabytes worth of photos, okay? So the important thing is the trash is great, but don't just empty it out with first checking it. You know, your diamond ring would have fallen in there and you took it to the machine, the garbage trucks, can't discover it anymore. This is that moment of why checking. So you couldn't have given us a better example of me saying, don't just automatically delete your trash. If you know, once you begin to know how to handle your stuff, your trash probably only has trash, go ahead and just empty it mindlessly. But for a while, we're going to first check it. And I'm so glad you guys checked it. Anyway, so cool. I'm going to stop your share. And then when you have a chance, double click on it, open it up, see if this one does have your files. And we can talk a little bit later, but I wanted to get that done because that was a scary one. Now I want to go backwards, and there's another question that Marcia asked a little bit ago, and I've been telling her I'll ask her, I'll hand her question. So in her chat, she had asked, is there any reason why participating in your class would require me to have a monthly commitment to Google for $1.99 per month? So Marcia, no, not at all. And so I'm wondering, and Google doesn't even have that price range, but the Mac iCloud has that price range. So I'm trying to figure out if what's the, can you speak with right now with me?
Yes, thank you, Diana. I don't know, 9 months ago, I found a charge on my credit card from Google for $1.99. And when I went on to the Google website to cancel the enrollment, the Santa Barbara City College screen would pop up and I couldn't cancel the charge. It was very strange.
Is it a monthly fee or a
Yeah,
one?
monthly fee, yeah. And I don't remember enrolling in it at all in Google.
I got it, it said I had too much mail, so I did it because I didn't want to lose.
That's your personal stuff. Let me just say, Google for school, if it's the Pipeline account, it is unlimited because it's a school account. You can put as much stuff in it as you want or need. So no, now your personal Google might be full and they're beginning to charge as much as Mac iCloud charges you.
My daughter signed me up for like a 99 cents or $1.99, but she signed me up.
Yeah, so basically the reason it's probably taking you to Google is because you have Google to Pipeline. You have
Right.
Probably is your email also, you have personal email as a Google account, or do you have other accounts that are?
I don't really use it, but I do have some that's on Gmail.
So what happens is that when you see a charge like that and you go click on it, it takes you to the account, to your Google account that's most current. And you probably have access, so then you can switch accounts to your other Google accounts. You know what I mean?
No, I
that
don't.
said,
But I'm sorry, switch my Google to my other Google accounts.
Maybe we can do it after class day at the end and I'll show you because it's not part of the
Yes.
Mac class, but if
Of
you have
course.
Google accounts, and in Google, you can switch to your different accounts. On
Thank
the
you.
Mac, you see all your accounts at the same time. On Google, you have to switch, so it's a bit different. But no, the one account that is completely free, like if you have to put tons of stuff in your Google account, at some point it starts charging you. Now, I'm not going to teach that, but I'm teaching the same equivalent thing here on the Mac. If you have an iCloud account that needs more space, I've been telling you guys how you need to pay more. So
Right.
if you have a Google account that's personal, they will do the same thing. They will give you some space for free and some to charge. So the only Google account that will never charge you is Pipeline, SBCC, because it's an unlimited account while you're a student. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I just, since it was related to SBCC, even though it's a Google question, I wanted to make sure that there was some clarity there for people who might have had that.
Thank you.
So thanks, Radine, mentioning that she has that too for Google, but they signed up for it. All right. So that said, and this is the last thing to that. If you try to go to it, and since I won't teach you that in this class, I won't like really handle it much more with you. If you try to go to it and keep saying SBCC, I did send you an email. I sent this class 2 emails. The welcome email at the beginning, and then I sent another one saying a homework or how to access stuff 2 days ago or yesterday. In that one, I said how to access in the second email to make. I put it in both, but in the second email, there's just that information. How to access the Santa Barbara City College IT tech support for students, which is it's a Zoom connection. So what you can do if for any reason you keep thinking that it's part of SBCC or it doesn't seem to unlink that, go to the Zoom account and say, hey, I'm getting this account. It says it's from SBCC, and show them, and they can probably show you how to.
Perfect.
Okay. So do
Great.
that Zoom thing. All right.
Great. Thank you.
Just to clarify that. Okay. All right. So it's which I'm not sharing any screen right now. No. Okay. So thank you, Becky, for asking that question, which mainly showed us how important it is to look at stuff that we have. And that's when she found, fortunately, they've taken other classes. They know that that's an important file. They asked me, My request is, don't delete anything. Remember I told you that, I kind of did give you homework in class, but then I didn't write it in the email, which was to write down any extensions of files that you had no idea what they were, right? The things after the DO. So if you had in the trash, you saw a .zip or something like that, or if you went into the documents and you saw a .mp4 or a .dmg or stuff like that, I said, write down stuff that you don't know what it is so that I can help you figure it out. So I guess I had given you a homework in class that I didn't repeat in the email. So that was the idea, right? To have an idea of what kind of things that are existing in your computer that you can handle. Now, that said, I also took you to applications and said all of these applications here is, if you see applications that you've never used, let me start with this one. Applications that you don't know what they are, many of them are installed at the beginning by the computer itself, right? By this computer. So if I go down here, I'll see that I have applications, I have calendars, and all of these are different applications, and mail and photos, all these things. If you notice here under applications, they don't show up. All of the Apple applications do not show up, so they're not deletable from here. See, all of these that I'm showing you are applications that got installed in addition to what the computer came with. Okay, so Adobe Dreamweaver, I had to purchase and install. Okay, Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Word, all of this stuff had to be installed extra. Firefox, brackets, Chrome, everything here came, was downloaded and installed separately from what comes in my computer. So if you see much less stuff in your own screens, it's because you have much less of your own stuff installed. So I'm heading over to, well, yeah, so here I'm seeing, oh, but okay, I'm looking over the shoulder. You guys can still hear me at home? Maybe you see me, I'm looking over Martha's shoulder here. If you, so she had like the office stuff that she had to install separately, but then she has some other Mac stuff, keynotes, pages, numbers, and iMovie. So those are Mac, Apple, let's say, applications, but they have to be downloaded and installed. They don't come with your computer. You have to choose to install them. For a while they didn't come, then they started coming installed, and now you kind of have to install them again. Anyway, they're considered, they're free, you can install them, but obviously they're not like part of the system, so you can't delete them. So those are there as well. I'm looking over, I have computers here, if there's anything other. So yeah, so like Zoom will be there, go to assistant. You have Big Sur that you already have installed, you can install macOS, so that's completely there. So, OneDrive, yeah, so mainly these are Office, Excel, I'm seeing there Band, anything else? That's the kind of stuff, okay. So, and in your case, you just have the Apple ones. All right, and Prime Video, okay. So, so here's the thing. If there's anything here that you see that these computers that I'm showing you were newly installed, so they don't have any of the ones that are, I don't remember the word. Does anyone see something that says something like canceled or inaccessible, or what would the word be? The first the year or two, when people switched from like Catalina up to Big Sur, Monterey, there's a lot of applications that people had in their computers that became not usable anymore. I don't know how to obsolete.
Unsupported.
That's the word. Not
Unsupported.
supported. Thank you. That's what they say, unsupported. Thank you. That's the one they use. So if you see over here under kind, if it says the word unsupported, okay, so no one here in this room seemed to have it. As the years go by, less people have them, but for a while, everyone had a ton of unsupported. And it's when you do a switch from a system. So those of you who are still in Catalina, if you ever can, if you can't move up anymore, like this computer, that's because you can't. But if you're in a computer that can move up, every time you upgrade, you might end up with one or two things that say unsupported. Unsupported just means that is old stuff that just doesn't work on the new. So if you have unsupported, all that space, maybe I have this over here, it says 3.9 gigabytes. And if it were to say unsupported in here, it's useless 3.9 gigabytes. If you have in the past used that application and you want it again, you either have to purchase a new one or go download a new one if they give you one, if you were part of it, but you cannot use it anymore. So select it if it says unsupported and hit down and delete. This is a great place to do that to all your unsupported. Okay. So anyone else finding, I'm going to clean your answers from the past. I haven't been cleaning up answers. Give me a second here. Does anyone else find the word unsupported? Thank you, by the way. It is, and I forget about it because in my demos, I have cleaned up all my unsupporteds and I forget the word, but that was the one. So if anyone else found unsupported, let me know. Give me a yes or something. Barbara, your hand was up and I just cleared the answers. And so your hand went down, but did you have a question? Your sound is off. Your sound is off.
I can ask you later. It's
Okay, it wasn't about the stuff. Okay.
not, it's not just about what you're talking about.
All right. All right. Okay. So unsupported, if anyone got to delete, that's applications are big, right? So that's a lot of gigabytes. I mean, look at these. Each one of these are gigabytes. Most of the other stuff runs into megabytes, so they're smaller, but some applications are really huge. So if you have applications that you never, ever, ever use, like what's this here? This is something that my son came and installed to play a game and he never comes and uses my computer anymore. This is the time to get rid of them. But don't willy-nilly get rid of stuff that you don't know. Maybe ask me or Google it, right? Because it might be something that someone set up for you for it to work. Just let me know. Otherwise, this is a great way to delete unused application. And then after that, let's not touch that anymore because you want to be clear. Now, one more thing, and then we're going to head over to break. I'm so accustomed on the screen to point to my screen for people who are in class, but then those of you on Zoom won't notice it. So now I'm pointing to things here with this, and it's so different. It's not as good. I'm finding the goods and the bads of being in person, but I'm standing behind the screen much more. When I used to teach in person, I was much more. But anyway, hopefully you guys see the mouse that I'm pointing, because I want to point to something important. Click on applications and then head all the way down and look at this line right there. You click on applications and then head down here. And right here it says Mac OS applications iMovie, right? Because I was clicking on iMovie, so it says iMovie. Now I'm going to click on animate and it says Mac OS applications, animate, animate. I'm going to click on, a lot of you guys had Microsoft Word. It says Mac OS applications, Microsoft Word. So this line here is the one that I want to focus on right now. That is called a path or an address. Now, for example, if you receive, if a friend is coming to visit you to Santa Barbara, right? You would have to tell them how to come visit your house. You would say, well, my house is on 123 State Street, Santa Barbara. Right to you, you'd add the area code 93101 or whatever it is, right? That is the address to your house. So they know it is in the world. They have to come to the country, United States, the city of Santa Barbara, California, state California, city of Santa Barbara, the street, state, the number 123. And that gives them your house and suite B. That's you and no one else, right? That's the address to your house. Same thing with computer addresses. That little line there is telling you where that application is living. What's the address to that application? So we call it a path or an address. Normally we call it a path, but the word could also be address. And since that kind of replicates what we have at home, I explain it that way. But what this means is Mac OS is the universe, right? Or the world. Applications, if you want, is the country, the state. Microsoft Word is the actual thing. So that's my break marker. I forgot to say. Oh, how weird. 3 minutes ago. We're supposed to be participating today in the Great Earthquake Shakeout Drill. And I'm noticing that I got an alert saying that it's happening right now, but in the classroom, we're supposed to have heard it and nothing showed up. Anyway, I'm gonna stop my share for a minute. Anyway, let me. What's that?
Yeah.
No, well, the idea is that you don't need to be out there, you need to be here. So 66893. I'm putting in I want you guys to know that there's a SPCC emergency alert system. And I just put in a number down there in the chat that if you text that number in the chat, I just put it in the chat. Here, I'll put it on the wall. 66893. The 9. If you text this, you get added to the SPCC emergency alert system that alerts you of things like, you know, earthquakes or whatever. So it's asking us to participate in they had warned us that, so basically it says drop, recover, but basically no, don't run out. That's the instructions. Go to a corner of the room, under like a table like this, which is really heavy would work. But like if not, to be in the corners, hopefully where there's no windows, like a strong sturdy edge. But definitely don't go outside, because that's actually, they say, more dangerous than staying inside. So anyway, for those of you at home, you know, I had to interrupt and say that because we've been warned this is the earthquake drill. So anyway, that's it. That's our participation, just letting you all know. If there's no table or desktop, drop to the ground, and if possible, move to an inside corner of the room. Do not move to another location or run outside. So those are the guidelines. Take cover and hold on to your whatever you're holding on to until the shaking stops. All right.
Track to at the bottom 2 words.
Yeah.
One said world, the applications was what?
Um,
And that's HB, I like you said, like the address.
yeah. So the equivalency I made is that these are the locations on my computer, right? So as much as I gave you the example of in the world, the country, United States, the state, California, the city, the path can be really convoluted, or it can just be, oh, I'm on State Street 103, right? So it could be just a 123 State Street, a short path that we all just assume we know where it is, or it tells you all the way into which universe you're inhabiting. It can be a long path. So over here, these applications just tell me Mac OS application Microsoft Word. If I go into a document and click on a document, then it tells me that these are in DE Musakio downloads, and this is the name of the file. If I go to the trash and click on a trash, it tells me it doesn't. Trash is the trash. This means it's in the trash. So actually, that's a good point. So it tells me where things are. So keep that in mind. And when we come back from break, we're going to take a break now and come back from break. We're going to talk more about how this whole address and path system works to find our files. Okay. I'm going to stop my share. I'm going to give you guys a break. Let me see, what time is it? So I was going to give you a break at 10:30, but then the earthquake thing happened at 10:35. So we'll meet you at 10:50. So we'll see you be back by 10:50. All right, see you guys in 15 minutes.
Okay, thanks. Okay, I can't find that, so I'm gonna write a new one.
All right, here we are again. I'm back in class. Anyone who hears my dulcet tones, please make trundle back to your desks. Well. So, come on in, come on back. This is my morning coffee that I haven't had yet that I brought in a mug and it needs a little bit more milk than this. It's very strong. Anyway, come on in, come on in, come on back.
What is my phasing out and I have to keep opening my mouth as.
It's a part of the time, you can tell it how long to go to sleep. It's for your protection. So that if it does get stolen or lost in a way, and to save you battery life, because the screen, the display is what takes up most of your battery. So if you're not using it, it goes to sleep. It doesn't turn off, it goes to sleep to conserve power. So then when you're ready, you just click and you keep.
Make it longer. Mine's too short.
Yeah, so we can change that. Did we do that last class?
Yeah, I remember.
Oh, the battery power stuff. Okay, if not, I'll show you. Hang out a little bit afterwards and I'll show you. Hey, guys, are you all back? While I'm waiting, I'm seeing some people from the ones who are home who are not there. So I'm gonna just a real quick share a question that I just got asked. Look at you guys, look at your computer where I'm gonna share my system preferences of my computer. If you have a laptop, the question is, if you have a laptop or a desktop, it's like, why does it go dark so quickly? And I said, it's to conserve power. So just really quickly, if you go into your system prefs, and we spent a lot of time on the system preferences last session, so watch the videos from last class. And then over here, you have one of these that says this like energy saver at the very, I think it looks a bit different now. I'm showing you the Catalina, but the energy saver, oh, it still looks the same. It's a light bulb. Click on light bulb and it tells you how long you can keep things on. And so in this case, my computer is set for 10 minutes of not use, then it'll turn off. You could have it set up for 1 minute or 1 hour. I recommend not having it too far up because then it goes out. But then you have display sleep. So you can have your computer stay on longer before going to sleep, but your display to go out faster, or the other way around, have them both at the same point. Your display tends to be going to sleep faster before your computer goes to sleep. So these are two different sliders that you can use. And now if you guys have not a laptop, but an iMac or whatever, it won't, it'll be a different setup in here. So I'm gonna just stop this share and just really quickly share this other computer, which is an iMac, and this is the display of an iMac, where see how it is a bit different. And in this here right now, it has a display. Right now, I can't make any changes on this one because these are the things that are the school turned off. But again, you would be able to go back and forth to system preferences. You have to have it in. Battery, I guess that's true. It's the battery now. There we go. So for the battery. Now, you never make any changes here. It's going to have you click on. So to make any changes in the system preferences, if it's grayed out, you have to go here to click the lock to make changes and then put in your computer's password. Okay. And then it'll light up and make you change. So what Jeanette was showing me, that on her laptop, it doesn't say have a light bulb. It has, instead it has a battery. It looks like a battery instead of a light bulb. Okay, so over here, this icon, instead of a light bulb, she's seeing a big old battery. And it's called, and the word is battery. Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, if you have it at less than a minute or a minute, then it goes off a bit too fast. don't make it too big because it'll use up your power. Okay. So now, I'm gonna change my share again to show you the window that we were working on. Again, so that was just on the system preferences. So for those of you, I don't want to get too confusing. I noticed some people were still not here when I started. So that was a question I got during break. I answered it really quickly, but now let's head over again to the storage manage options. The reason I showed you this path, right? This address, the place where the location of the file is to show you that the computer stores things in a very organized manner. The things are always, imagine you have a very organized filing cabinet, 4-drawer filing cabinet, and you open a drawer and inside you have, all these little green folders, and you're so organized that you just open them up and zip, 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 open up and know exactly how to find that one form, right? That form that you were supposed to send in for your taxes, which is in the folder called 2022, which is in the folder called all my taxes, which is in the drawer called financial stuff, which is in your office, which is in your home, which is on 123 State Street, right? So those, if you ever need to find out where is this one form that I need in my home, that would be the address to it. It would be, not only do you get to the home, but then you go into the room where my office is, and then you go into the filing cabinet and you go into the 3rd drawer. And then from there you move into the one called taxes, and inside of that to 2022. And there's the form, right? That's the location of that form. That's how the computer is going to always tell us where things live. All right. So, so in this case, I'm going to documents, right? And I'm clicking on a document that appears over there. And, oh, I'm sorry, I'm doing this on the other computer. I'm going over here to documents, and I'm clicking on any of these documents that appear over here. And then it basically says, again, it's a pretty simple, it goes, this file, so you kind of read it backwards, like this would be the last thing, is inside of downloads, and downloads, it's inside of DE Musacchio, which is the user. Okay. Now in my other computer, I have more interesting addresses because I have further to go. So over here, when I click on documents and I click on this file, it's a longer one. It basically says that this video, it's a video, is inside of miscellaneous files to be organized, right? And then when I hover over this one, it's so many that they have to kind of so to say collapse. It's under miscellaneous files to be organized. When I hover over this, see how it opens up. When I move my mouse, it opens up under class files to download, which is inside of downloads, which is inside of Mac Teacher. So this is the long path to this file. Okay, so go ahead and click on files here and there that you own and check out their paths. Okay, go into different places, go into, well, this one doesn't have a connection. So go, basically all I have right now is applications. Go into here, and applications are pretty simple. They always just live in your applications folder. Okay, so that path, okay, and I'm gonna write it here back as you go home. Path or address is the location of our files. Okay, so if you look at this file, it just has a name. It doesn't tell you where it is, but it's that path that tells you where it is. Now, why do we care about this? Because in this tool, it doesn't care where it's hiding. In this tool, it just cares to tell you if it's too big or too small. So this tool won't really direct you towards the place unless you look down here. All it's telling you is if it's too big or too small. So last week, I gently told you head over to documents and don't do anything, right? And that's our last class. But now, yes, go to documents and look inside of documents. There's 4 different clicks that you can do here. Each one of these is a different type of file. So documents are files that we have created. Documents are 99.9% times files that did not come with a computer, that would not exist if you hadn't made them. Okay. Later, I'm going to show you how you find, I think last class I showed you how to find your files on your phones and on your iPads. But basically, this is the way to find them on your Mac and how to deal with them if they are on your computer or if they're in the cloud. It still is, doesn't matter where they are still going to be found this way. We're going to talk more about whether they're in the cloud or not. We're going to talk about that whole conversation. I had hours of that in the last 6 classes, but once you get back to file management, I'll talk a little more about that. Right now, it doesn't matter where they are. The point of this document is all about if they are useful to you or not where they are. The other way of learning how to handle your files is where they are, and I will teach you that later. But more importantly, this tool shows you if they're too big, too small, unsupported, that kind of stuff. And you make choices not based on where they are, but do you need this file? So I find it more useful this way at the beginning to purge our stuff. So the first one it shows you is large files. Now in this computer, it only finds one large file. In my other computer, I am seeing about 8 large files. So it tells you any file that's large, and for the most part, you'll find a lot of movies in there, right? So if you have movies, you might, and you have large movies, you might find that there. And this is a movie, right? Now, I look at the file and it's humongous. It's 125 megabytes, guys. It used to be that a whole computer used to have that size. That is a humongous video. Last class, we were talking about videos that were 40 megabytes in messages, remember? And this one is 125 megabytes. Wow.
Gigabyte.
What you have a gigabyte? You have one that's a gigabyte. Oh my goodness. Two that are gigabytes. Okay, so remember what I told you how to check them out? So I actually, this one, I know what it is because it's labeled. And by the way, because it's labeled, I immediately am going to tell you there's no way I'll ever get rid of this file because it's the most amazing little video. So I don't care that it's huge, but many times you don't know what they are. They're just sitting there with numbers. So remember, click on something and hit the space bar, right? And it'll show you. And so this is my, it said, okay, so that's what that is. I will never get rid of that video, no matter the whatever size it is. But at some point, if my computer is running out of space, maybe it's the kind of file that, do I need it daily in my life? Maybe I can put it in another hard drive. Does that make sense? Now, if I'm not running out of space, do I love turning it on now and then and going, oh, yes, of course. But that's an example of at least knowing what it is and then deciding based on, you know, not just getting rid of it because it's too big. So those are 2 people here in class said that they had a gigabyte files, right? So go ahead and hit your space bar, but you have to select it first. Okay, just select it. Hit your space bar and let it run. And then see, okay, if that's something that you want or need. So people here are doing that. It's hit the space bar again to stop it from running. Okay, and don't hit the space bar if you're here in the classroom. Put your volumes down because we're going to be drowning each other out. And you already saw what mine is. Do it to see how it works. But then after that, just, you know, do it to yours.
Mine was black.
What's that?
It was black. There was nothing.
Okay, so I'll help you in a minute, but right now, what Jeanette is saying is that she has a file that's black. Now, it's one that's a whole gigabyte, right? So when you click on it, in case you've seen the beginning, you can drag it over here and see if maybe there's something else on it that you know, that's there. If not, what it can be that it was in your pocket and you hit record and it recorded, or your purse and it recorded a gigabyte is humongous. Maybe it's a 10, 20-minute video of the inside of your pocket, right? So, and you know, you have 125 gigabytes on your computer and a whole gigabyte is taken by a file that is black, right? So at least that's what's happening here in class. How about you guys at home? Are you finding any videos there that are like useless to you? If so, we hit delete. So I'm gonna change my share and I'm gonna share over here on this screen.
Right, it's in my car.
There you go. She's discovering it's in her
I
car.
went to the far right.
So here I have, yeah. So here I have a lot of videos that are more than a gigabytes, right? And this is my school one. But what these are is because remember that I have to record these 3.5-hour videos of these classes. Then I download them, then I upload them and I put them online, right? So here you go. This is, I have downloaded onto this computer. So each one of these for me are 1.5 gigabytes long. So basically 1 gigabytes is about a 3.5 hours worth of recording. So that's how, in this case, how long this one was. By the way, this
Deanna?
is the recording from last week that Julie, you said wasn't working. So let me test it. This is last week's. And I'm seeing it there. Begins to get, it still shows up 320, 320. So the recording is okay. So I'm gonna see if maybe the upload to Google didn't work because the video is fine all the way through. This is at the very beginning. Some of you weren't connected yet, but Julie said that she tried to watch the recording and it didn't work. Well, there's that video. So I'm gonna see if I can upload it again and check it out if it's not working. But anyway, so these are all videos. Now, do I need these anymore? Well, no, they're already online. So this is an example of videos that I don't need anymore. Actually, I'm glad I have this one because I will keep it now to see if I upload it again. But these are the first 6 classes of the Intro to the Mac class. Once I upload them to Google, I don't need this video. Look at that. That's a bunch of gigabytes, right? Now, in this case, I don't need it anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and select it and hit delete. Do you want to delete it? And remember, it warns you. Are you sure this will be deleted immediately? This is important, you guys. This does not go to the trash. If you delete from this tool, it is not recoverable. If you delete from other places in the computer, your things go to the trash and then you decide to empty the trash or not. But from this tool, it is directly disappearing from your computer. So before you hit, it warns you, it gives you this one little warning. And then after that, it's out of here. So it says, are you sure you want to delete? It'll be deleted immediately, freeing a 1.39 gig of storage. You cannot undo this action. So you guys should always read little boxes that pop up to make sure, you know, if what you're about to do. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure I don't need that one anymore. So I'll hit delete. That immediately emptied out 1.39 gigs from my computer. So anyone else who has deleted some big videos that are useless, please give me a big old yes. I want people to tell me if this is useful for you guys. Over here, there's already a couple of big videos being deleted. Did you find anything big or obnoxious in yours? Select it first. But this is, what did you have? So I was going to just large files. So this one. Oh, because it came in all of the stuff that I missed. You downloaded my class file, right? I have taken your content. But area down. Well, no, this is showing it. This isn't the class files. Oh, you didn't download class files, you weren't here last class. I'll help you download class files. Do you have it? Yeah, so it's in the class files that I sent, but since you had your own computer, because most people have them school computers, but you downloaded yours. So that's the only one that you have. Now, you guys who downloaded my class files have this video of my son's fifth birthday. Is it useful for you? No. So you guys can go ahead and delete it from the school computer. If you want. Does that make sense? Now, did you find? Right. And then. Pretty big, so go ahead and click on the space bar. And check out what that one is. Looks like your jeans, right? Yeah, so it looks like you're turning on your phone. How about you? You have some big ones too.
I opened documents.
Oh, my
And
goodness.
then I shrunk them down to this again. Now these weren't here, but right now they're here.
No, because down here you have different places that we were looking at, and stuff like that, some large files, and we have things that it's like. When you open documents here this way, you said it opened up.
Well, I mean, I did whatever, documents. Yeah, I know, it had three, so I opened up this file. And when I opened up this file, it went to a big page, you know,
Okay, that's
so
the
that's
zip.
why.
That is- so zip files are files that are, it's like a bag that holds 3, 10, or 15 files inside. of it. Zip file is a container that holds any other file, right? So it's, whatever, it can have 100, you have, that's a really big, one, right? So if you click on it.
Yeah, see, so it expanded, that's
So
what
what
I did.
it does is, so what this happens to that 9 gigabytes could turn into 20 gigabytes now. Yeah. Depends, because now that you've expanded them, each one of those files is being taken out of their bag where they were compressed before.
Oh, okay, okay, so if I just look down, if I close down and
Now,
everything
now that
later.
you expanded it, now all you can do is actually.
Okay.
That.
See, so this is what I.
So now you have
This
those
is what I
three
got.
files, and now you have that one file that's turned into this one, and this one, and this. This is the part we're gonna come later. You have it, we've expanded it 3 times. This one I probably expanded. This one you did it twice, this one you did it 3 times, but this is the actual archive. So now you have 9, yeah, this was about 10 gigabytes, so now you have 40 gigabytes worth of stuff, right? So for now, you can delete all of these. Because that's.
Okay,
And these are copies of the same thing. And when I look at it. Like that. Put down. Right. Right in this church. Right. Fingers down. Right. Fingers down is right. Right. Okay. So the name trash. Don't want to do it.
That one?
I'm not gonna say that you would keep that, but what I'm saying is you still have them in there. And when we're ready to look at it in a different way, we can get in there and you have it. But you still need 4 copies of it now. Okay, I'm coming back here to screen. Hopefully a lot of you guys have been deleting stuff. But the main thing that I wanted to say is that earlier on, I had mentioned here in my trash, I have some zipped files. Let me actually, give me a second. I'm gonna put them back into my documents just so that they appear under documents here. So one of the people here in class had a zipped file in here. And remember last week I said, tell me what the extensions are and I'll tell you if it's good or not. If you guys have a zipped file, you can't see what's in there because if you like click and spacebar a DMG, it doesn't seem to be telling you much about it anyway. So I'll tell you what DMGs are. I'll tell you, but MOVs are very easy. The movie plays, right? And P4s are movies again, the movie plays. So these are easy to see. But a DMG, you need to know what it is. So if you have a DMG is it's a application. It's an input application that's ready to be installed. So a DMG is an installer file. or in this case, if I install this file, it'll install my Google Drive. So do I want to install that file? Do I not want to install that file? So give me a second here. I don't want to talk individually about each one. I do want to talk about this one because it just came up. If you have a zip file and you hit a space bar, it'll say zip. And in this case, for those of you who downloaded class files, which we all did last week, I'll go ahead and do it for you, Rating. You might find a folder like this that says zip. What a zipped file is when you have a ton of files to send. Instead of sending, say, 10 files to someone, when you try to send 10 files, the computer zips them together. It's like you put them in a bag, zip it up and send the bag that has 10 files inside of it. 10, 20, 2, it could have however many files you put in there get sent over. You need to extract them in order to then see your 10 files or 20 files. So one of the, Pam here in class has a 9, almost 10 gigabyte zipped file on her computer. So when you want to know what it is, she couldn't see what it is until she unzipped it, because if you just do a C, it tells you, oh, it's a zipped file, but you have no idea what's in there. Just tells you the size. So you need to unzip it, which in this case, just double clicking unzips it. But then that means you put all those 10 files on your computer. So if you don't know what's in your zipped files, this is my point. Be very, very careful. Be very, very careful with zip files. Don't just double click and open up indiscriminately unless you know the name of that zip, what it might be, because that's a great way to send you lots of viruses, right? So if you, for any reason, got some kind of virus from something you downloaded or something that happened on the internet, they could send you a zip load. And when you open up that zip, those files install themselves and they're all over your computer. So be careful with zip files if you have no idea what they were. Now, these were labeled from her job, so, but she had already double clicked them without me being there. That said, she already knew what they were, they recognized, but don't unzip files you don't recognize, because there could be anything in there. When you hit the space bar, it doesn't tell you what's in there. My name of this file says class files to download, so that helps you. But if this said, 1, 2, 3, 5, Z, X, Y, and I look at the date and, maybe it's an old date, or I don't remember in September 26th downloading anything that was important. This is the kind of file to go, okay, you know what? If it were important, I would notice it's missing. I'm going to delete it. I'm going to get rid of it. Like, the important thing is the dates too. So I look at the dates and I go, oh God, I've had this since 2019. I've never unzipped it. Why do I even have it if I don't know what it is? Just be careful, because these are packages. It's like, I'm exaggerating here, but it's like receiving a package and opening it up and it could be a bomb in the package. Like, you don't expect anything or don't want anything, be careful. We're not, but if you're working in the government and you receive an envelope and it has powder inside, that kind of thing, you have to be careful. Same with this. Zip files could be dates. Yeah.
Is there any way to click on, do anything to open that file where I can just see the sub files?
Nope.
And double click and then?
Nope.
Okay.
No.
No. All right.
Great questions, Rod. Is there any way to see what's in there? No, you can only see what's in there by double clicking, which is opening it up, and then they open up and they are in your computer. So I also want to say that the reason this shouldn't be so worrisome to you, even though this sounds horrible, is because hopefully from now on, you'll be aware when you download stuff. And thus, when you download stuff, go check them and immediately you'll know that it's something you downloaded. Hopefully after this class, you won't go into your downloads and find things that you downloaded 2 years ago and never knew they were there. That's the intention. So then you would be less surprised. You go, oh yeah, these are the photos that my friend Rob just sent. Oh great, I'll unzip them. You know what I mean? But if you find zipped files that have no memory of and that are from a long time ago, it's like, at this point, you better just not unzip. You know what I mean? Because hopefully from now on, you'll be aware and unzip them immediately because you know where they come from and who they come from, right? If you,
I'm really confused.
yeah,
I really need a few more seconds just to talk right now. So this big zip file, is something I can't open without a lot of hassle, correct?
No, double clicking like you already did. It's not a lot of
Yes,
hassle.
but it replicated it.
It didn't, okay, let me explain, because you guys didn't see it happen, but she did, so let me just do it here. So, just for your guys' curiosity, I'm gonna do it here, because I know what these files are. It's a zipped file, right? So I'm going to double click on it, right? And so what it's doing is, and I have to share the screen with you guys, it expanded. Okay, so what does it mean? It opened up, oh, I need to share. You guys didn't see the process, okay, because here, so I'm gonna do it again, okay. So I double clicked on this zipped file, okay, and it expanded. So now what I've got left, and a new window opened up for me outside of the managed files. And this is a Finder window, which we're gonna explore in a minute, but in about 10 minutes, we're gonna get here. We explore this window. And what I now see is two of the same thing. There's class files to download, which is the one that I originally had that said zip. And now I have a folder called class files to download. And this is, I opened my bag, unzipped it, and took out the contents. You see that? But now what happens is that I'm left with both the original zipped bag full of stuff and a folder of files, which if I open up has a bunch of other stuff in it, right? So I'm not going to explain that, but there's a lot of stuff in there, right? So let me explain. Watch, just watch. This has not been emptied out. The zipped folder, the zipped file has not been emptied out. I opened it up, it regurgitated its contents, so to say, but it's still full. It's not really like a bag where you take it out and now your bag is floppy and empty. In this case, the bag gave me a version of its things that said here, like if it were magic and you could keep pulling out, was it umbrellas or rabbits out of the bag? You took out all the contents, but it's still full. So now if I double click on it again, it'll expand again. And now I have the same thing twice. And if I double click on it again, it'll expand again. And now it says 3. So now I've downloaded 3 versions of the same thing. Does that make sense? The same contents is there 3 times. Since a file cannot have the same name, it's adding a number 2 and a number 3. But the zip is still full too. So I really have 4 times this information now in my computer. Does that make sense? So Pam clicked twice on it. She made 2 copies. Then I went over and clicked again. She ended up with 4 copies of a 10 gigabyte. So now she had 40 gigabytes of that stuff on her computer. 3 of which are duplicates and 1, which is the compressed version. Now, why do people compress things? In part because they are, one second, I need to do something so that you guys, one of the reasons you compress something is it's easier to send one file, right? You zip them, so it's easier to send one file, right? And one file, you receive one file, and then there's 25 things in it. Much easier than having to send 25 things. But also, if you had a file structure like here, you conserve the file structure. There's many reasons to zip things. That's not the point. The point is that when you unzip them, the file becomes bigger. Now, if these are files that are tiny anyway, see my 209 megabytes file, when I unzipped them, they came to 111 megabytes, which is barely bigger. Had these been movies or videos, the zip file would have compressed them more. So you might have had a 200 megabytes here, but when you open them up, that might have been 300 megabytes worth of stuff because it also does this little compression, but depending on the file. In this case, it's a tiny difference. Other zip files, when you unzip, what comes out is much bigger. Okay, imagine, you know those bags they have that if you put in a comforter and you suck out the air to store it. Okay, a zip file is like that. When you bring it out, it goes and it kind of fills out its space. And so sometimes it can take up much more space, others not, depending on what you actually put in there. So at this point, if you've done that to a zip file and you have versions of something that says that plus that plus that, notice how the first one doesn't say downloads 1. That one just says nothing. The second one says 2, the third one says 3. This one, these 3 are now unnecessary. Now I'm going to leave these here because I haven't shown you how to handle the Finder yet. So I'm going to teach you how to handle that. But in Pam's case, since they were so big, I did actually tell her, go ahead, and she deleted them all and was left only with this one again. And then when we learn how to handle this, I'll have her expand it, search, decide what she needs, not. But the whole point is that once you expand it, and this is my whole point of this class, if these are files you need, in this case, I don't need these two, I don't need these three, and I don't really need the zip anymore. Because I already have expanded them. That is what was in there. So the zip file is useless to me now. It's just doubling up my space. So I should get rid of the 2 or 3 versions that I unzipped, plus get rid of the zipped file as well. And leave only the unzipped documents, which is what I need. Does that make sense? Okay, so if you guys have a zipped folder, a file, and you unzip it, what you need to do is get rid of the zip itself, if you kept one. So how you get rid of something, you could go over here and say right click and move to trash. Okay. And so now I don't need it. I had to get rid of this one too. So I'm going to right click and move to trash. Then I'm going to go over here and right click and move to trash. And I'm left with one version unzipped and everything in there, which again, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself because I haven't shown you yet, but it's full of stuff and I'm going to use all that folder for our class. But now I only have one version of that. But this is important. All of this stuff went to my trash. So in Pam's case, or in my case, all the stuff is still on my computer. I still have 40 extra gigabytes. Pam has 40 extra gigabytes that I don't need. So if you do put all this in the trash, don't forget then to go to the trash and empty your trash. But don't empty your trash until you check that there's nothing else in there that shouldn't be emptied, like Becky. Okay. But once you find that there's nothing else in there, then you can trash it. So I'll take you to the trash in a minute. So that's the deal. If you find any zip files, that's what you do. Now, as I said, we were in documents, we found it here, we opened it up, and it took us here to a finder, which is the other way we handle files. So some files need to be handled in the finder that can be handled from here. And one of those is a zipped file, because this name isn't enough. Okay, so this is the tool that we've all been using, the manage, and you got taken to a finder window if you had a zip file. I think it's the only one that takes you to the finder window. Everything else can be handled from in here. Julie, your hand's been up for a while. What's your question?
Okay, when we were in trash, I have 3 zips from, it says open to start support session.
Okay.
Can I delete those now? Because they're in
Yeah.
my trash.
Yeah, so let's head over to the trash over here. Now, this is my trash now, which by the way, now my trash has all these classes to download that you just saw me unzip, right? They're all there. Pam, in your trash, you should see all the 3 versions that we just opened of yours and whatever else that you guys have in your trash. Now, when you have stuff in your trash, one of the things that that you will have in there is what Julie mentioned is you probably did a support session maybe with Apple, or I don't know, who could you have done a support session with that you did a chat with? What date does it have on it?
September 9th of this year at 8:30 in the morning, 8:27.
You didn't zoom into tech support anywhere, Apple tech support or chat, or read the name of the file again.
Open to start support session .zip.
So when you guys call into Apple, for example, right? And not only Apple, other companies do it too. But I'm going to give the example of Apple because some of you guys might have done it. When you call into Apple and they say, well, I need to be able to see your computer to help you. Right?
Oh, okay.
Then they send you a link that if you click on it, it opens up a Zoom session, or other companies have it too, situation like that. And then they can look at your computers like I do when I say share your screen, they help you. That file then ends up in the trash. And so you don't, it's a one-use file to connect with that tech person who helped you that one time. So when you're done, it seems to have sent itself to the trash. In the past, these things loaded your computer. Now they're a bit more intelligent. They send themselves, so to say, to the trash. But then
Okay.
they're still in your computer, they're still in your trash. So you need to get rid of them, right? From your trash. So yes, that would be a good one. If you see something like that, it's a good one to get rid of. Yeah.
So if we open one of these in trash, will it come up so we can see it?
No, the good news about trash, for better or for worse, is that it doesn't open up. So you can see it like that. Like you can do a view with that, and that was hitting the space bar, right? Space bar to see it. But if it's a zipped file, once again, it'll give you that same thing. You can't like, you know, open it from here. You just view it. I recommend, see here I have folders, right? So if I want to see inside this folder, it's going to open up in the Finder. So right now, what I'm going to do is I want to teach you more about the Finder so you understand the difference between this Manage tool and the Finder, right? Because otherwise, when you start opening things, then it takes you to the Finder. Some of you have been in my class before, you know what the Finder is, but some of you guys are like, where am I going? So it's like, hold off for a minute on that. Let me finish a few more things on this Manage tool, and then we'll go in to understand the Finder. So it'll probably be, this is more learning that we're doing. It'll probably be until next class before we can actually handle both comfortably and then really begin to delete files, okay? So right now we're still learning, so don't get too stressed if you still have files that are useless there, okay? Hang on to them until next Tuesday. I'm teaching you the tools, and then once we understand the tools, we'll go, okay, now I know where to go delete this, where to go delete that, where to handle each thing. Is this useless or not? So I don't want to get into the nitty gritty of individual files, more the functioning of the whole thing right now. So as you notice, I'm still leaving all the stuff in my trash. Unless you have a
Deanna?
computer that's really hurting right now, that's really needing to work better, or you find a completely trash files. Jeanette just found 2 or 3 gigabytes of videos from inside her purse. Yeah, go ahead and delete those, right?
One of my pants.
And one of your jeans sitting on your foot. Yes, Julie?
So I can go ahead and delete these 3 that say
Those
open.
3, yeah, go ahead and delete them. They're useless. They're one-time use to that one tech, and they won't, if you try to connect again now, it won't connect because that connection isn't open. It's like trying to connect to a Zoom class that's not happening, right? So
Okay.
it won't work. Rod, you have your hand up?
I call Apple Tech Support, they help me. Do I understand that we did a screen share? That's been, and that, does that file go into my computer, or does Apple clean that out and they just disappear?
No, it depending, see, was this Apple for you, Julie, or who was it that you did this with? Because different companies, I don't think Apple uses Zoom.
It might have been Cox because I can't send an email from my
Okay.
computer to my husband all of a sudden, and we're both
Yes.
on Cox.
So Cox would send Zoom, Apple sends its own version, and they don't leave residues behind, so to say. But this one was, that's why I was like, I don't think Apple doesn't leave you things, but I guess Cox does, so yeah.
Yeah, I
Can
think
you
that's what it
bring
was.
Oh, okay, so, all right, so, back to documents, I wanted to show you these 4 or 5 choices first before we leave this. So this is just pointing out large files from wherever they are in your computer. Large files, I don't know right now what number it considers large to have it pop up here versus not pop up, but this isn't all the computers. This is only, remember, large files, and large files can be totally awesome, like my 5-year-old's birthday party, which I'm not going to get rid of, or it can be a video of your phone inside your purse. So check them, but that doesn't mean get rid of them. Now, if you're going to delete stuff, like imagine in your room, you have a tiny room and you have 500 thumbtacks or 2 4-person couches. What are you going to do to make space? Individually get rid of 5,000 thumbtacks, or should you get rid of 1 or 2 couches that you're not using, right? So what this is saying is let's deal with the big files first, because if you delete one of these, you're making a ton more space than if you spend hours looking at all your tiny files, right? And really the distinction in file size, I'm not exaggerating, is you can delete 5,000 thumbtacks, and still it's like having thrown away one little throw pillow of that whole couch. Videos are humongous. They take up ridiculous amount of space, which is why movie studios, film studios, whatever, use like roomfuls of computers to handle it. Video is ridiculous how much space it takes. 1 second of video is equivalent to, like, depending on how the film was taken, it could be equivalent to 25 photos or to 70 photos. It depends, or, you know, so 1 second. So you can go and spend hours deleting 500 photos or one video that ran for 5 seconds, right? So it's like, spend your time on your useless videos. And when you take videos, make them short, guys. Make a certain, you know, a moment of time. And now it's really important. It's a ceremony, it's a wedding. Of course, you know, shoot the whole way, it's only one, but don't spend hours on that landscape. Take maybe a panorama photo of the landscape, and then take for a short one to hear the seagulls or whatever that you're doing. Right? Because that one video is going to be humongous. And then if you keep it because it's really important to you. If not, to go, oh, this was beautiful. If you take my photos class where I teach you how to handle photos and videos, I'll show you how to shorten it to just the piece that matters. If you took a 3-minute video, maybe only 20 seconds of it mattered, and I'll show you how to do that. But right now you're stuck with the 3-minute video. Keep it if it matters to you. And if not, boom, you're getting rid of 2 couches instead of, you know, 200 tacks. So that's what this large files is doing, is going, you really need this 134 gigs? No. Okay, delete it. So I'm going to delete one more, right? But the important thing, it's not going to my trash. I'm not going to find 2022 Intro to Mac in my trash. If I go over to my trash, it's not there. Okay, it's gone, and it's gone forever. It's gone straight through, because trash is like an in-between. Again, in your kitchen, have you ever had stuff that's so icky, smelly that you don't put it in your trash? You take it straight out to the bin by the garage or wherever, the big trash. It's the same thing. Like the other day, my husband found a desiccated rat in one of the sheds. He went straight out and put it on the bin that's in the street. Why? You're not gonna put that in your trash at home. So you straight out there, right? So that's what just happened. It went straight out. Like, it's not even in the bin anymore. The trash has come and picked it, gone, right? It's not retrievable. Versus if it's still in your house, if it's still in the trash, it's still there. It's just waiting to be taken out to the dump. It's still there. So you can take things out of the trash and put them back in. Not if you do this. All right. This stuff can be retrieved, but stuff that you just deleted this way does not get retrieved. That's all I wanted to really clearly say. All right. Yes, Rod?
Those titles across large files, downloads, etc.
Yeah.
How do we access, or what do we do to? I've seen you had one, I thought you authored unused film.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah. So we're just stopping at large files, which I say is the most important place, only because of the amount of space they take. A few of you guys have nothing. Like here, I'm looking at Martha's computer. She only had the file that I just gave her last week. She didn't have any of her own that are large, so that's fine. If it's empty, it's empty. If not, make sure you want them. If you want to keep them, if you don't want them, get rid of them. How do you access them? From right now, from here. If you wanted to access them through the Finder, which is what I'll teach you next, then you have to look to see where it is and then go check it out on the Finder. But right now, it's here for shown for us to see. Let's click on downloads. What's downloads? Downloads is a folder on your computer where anything you download from the internet arrives. So in this case, it's not large or small or anything. It's just downloads. This is equivalent as if you were finding it on the Finder. For those of you who know how to handle the Finder. This is another access to the downloads. And some of you guys will discover that you have 2,000 things in there. Some of you will discover 5 things in there. But all of this stuff has been downloaded once at some point from the internet, or it arrived in an email, or it arrived, you downloaded it. There are certain things you can download text messages, I guess, for the most part, you don't download certain text, pretty good. So these are things that came to you. And your phone, you can have stuff that you receive as well. You receive a form and you use it, you put it in your phone, then it's sitting there taking up space in your phone. In this case, it's sitting up taking space in your computer. So when you go over here to the downloads folder, it again, this tool prioritizes size. This tool is all about get rid of what you don't need. So it goes over here to prioritize size. So notice that it's in order of size. So if I look at the top, I've got one here that's a gigabyte, 900 megabytes, 800 megabytes, and then it gets smaller and smaller, 100, and then if I jump to KB, 45 KBs, 4 KBs. So this is stuff that's in my downloads folder, and it's telling me you have 5.5 gigabytes in your downloads folder. So if you have that much stuff in your downloads folder, one thing that I'm going to teach you guys is that downloads folder has to be a temporary place. You download it, and again, going back to, has anyone shop at, Costco or Target or places where you can do anything from butter to an air conditioner to, jeans, you go and you fill your cart and you come from your house and you come into your house and imagine that all your shopping got downloaded at your door entrance. That's your downloads folder. You brought it into your house. Well, normally you should grab your shoes that you bought and put them in your bedroom closet, whatever you hide your shoes. The butter should go into the kitchen, into the fridge. The toothpaste should go into the bathroom, right? Same with the downloads folder. You download stuff for the internet, you got to put it somewhere. It's the entrance to your home. So where does this go? Does this go, oh, I don't need it anymore, trash? Does it go, oh, this is really important, I have to file it, I have to save it. Oh, this is a photo that, of my sister's wedding, that should go to photo. So everything that comes into your downloads folder should have a use, be put in the right spot, or maybe has a temporary use, like I need this for 2 more days and then I'll get rid of it. So a downloads folder could be a place for temporary things, or let's get rid of it, put it in the trash. Okay, so that's what the downloads folder is. So if you have 10 things in there, if you have 2,000 things in there, those 10 things could be humongous and really old, and it'd be worse than 2,000 small things, right? So again, it's not about how many things, it's about the size of that file. Yes, Pam?
Okay, so my files are a little messed up because my computer crashed and somebody helped me with it.
Yeah.
So can I, and so I don't know what's in these files because they just have weird names.
Yeah.
Can I open that?
Yes
Or
and
not.
yes and no. Hold on. Once again, I think it's much better to open files and handle them from the Finder, which is that other thing I'm going to talk to you about that I
Okay,
keep saying,
all right.
wait a minute. This is a great fact-finding place.
Got it, okay.
This managing thing is good to say, oh, really quickly, okay, I know what this is, I don't need it, let's get rid of it. This I do know, this I don't know, let's get rid of it. But it's not the best place from which to handle files, to open them and work with them. So that's better to use the Finder.
Okay. So use
But
the
you
Finder.
can, though, hit the space bar and look at it and go, oh, that's what that is, and pull it down again. You know what I mean? To discover what it is, you can do that. So, so in my downloads, I discovered that all these videos that I had talked about that had been shown here as large files, if I had paid attention to where they were, oh, look, it's in my downloads folder. See down here? It had told me it was in my downloads folder. But in this case, it didn't matter. It was just about, is it a large file or not? But when I go to my downloads folder, there it is again, because yes, it's in my downloads folder. Does that make sense? The downloads folder is actually a spot on your computer. It's a room that comes with your computer. Like you buy a house with a bathroom, a kitchen, a bedroom, and a living room. Your Macs, your PCs too, come with a couple of rooms. One is your documents folder, and one is your downloads folder, and one is your applications folder. Applications go to applications, applications are software. Documents is any file created by you or by someone else, sent it to you, is your documents, and download is anything you download from there. So that is where the downloads are, in a room called download, waiting for you to then distribute them to their right places or get rid of them. But sometimes we download stuff we don't need. So,
Can you space bar or zip file?
yes and no, if you spacebar a zip file, I have one here. It just shows you that it's a zip file. It does not show you what's inside. This is what you asked me
Oh,
for,
okay.
Rod, and I said, no,
Okay.
it does not. So I'm in downloads now. And so it's showing me what's in my downloads folder, and it's showing me here. And by the way, in this case, I can't see the extension, right? And I might want to see the extension, so I can go over here where between recent and kind, put my mouse on that little line that's right there and just make it a little bit bigger so I can see those extensions, because I might want to see the extensions in order to understand what kind of file it is. So I can move that around. See what I mean? Can move that around a little bit so I can see different extensions in there. And then I can make it a bit bigger so that I can also see the file sizes. Okay, see what I just did? So this file was a bit small right there. So I can grab the window and make it a bit bigger so that I can see, or I can put my mouse in here in between recent and kind, right there. When I get a double-headed arrow, there's a line, there's a gray line. Put it right in front of kind on that gray line and stretch out. Then I can see the extensions, because the extensions are really important for me to know what kind of file it is. But I also want to see the size. I want to see last access. I can also read over here. If you don't see the extension, you could also read here that it's an Excel file. It's a JPEG. So, you know, for those of you who really don't like extensions, you can read it there. But I like to see the extension, and I like to see the type file. And most importantly, the dates. Now this computer, these were, I just told you, they were reset over the summer. So nothing in these computers can be older than a month or two old. But most computers in the world have been purchased. If you just purchased it 2 months ago, you don't have any dates in your downloads that are older than that. But you will have files older than that if they got transferred from another computer, right? But the downloads is probably fresh. But other than that, you could have downloads from 5 years ago if you've never cleared your download. So look at here at the dates and see what dates you have. But the original way this is described is by size. Now say that perchance you clicked on the word recent. Look at what's happening. I clicked on the word recent and see how everything moved around. Now I'm going to click on the word kind and see how things move around. I'm going to click on the word last access and things move around. And I'm going to click on the word size and things moved around. So when you click on these words, things reorganize themselves. And so if I were to click on kind, it batches all the comma separated files, all the Excel files. So then what matters to me is what type of file it is. If I click on size, it goes top to bottom and it tells me biggest to smallest. If I click on last accessed, then it tells me, oh, this is the ones you access less. And if you go to the very bottom, that's where you might find the 2012, 2017, 2018 files that you've never used. Now, again, just because it's old doesn't mean it's not good. You might have your last, you might have a file that you haven't accessed for 5 years, but it's your tax documents. Well, guess what? You're supposed to keep them for 7 years. That doesn't mean that you need to get rid of that file, right? Or you wrote a book 10 years ago and it's a file that you haven't opened because you have a real thing, but you don't want to get rid of that file. I'm saying old last access files that are old files don't need to be used, but usually the files that we use more constantly are the ones that we're really using, and you in those old ones will find, wow, I downloaded this 3 years ago and it's still sitting here. I should have either trashed it, or if it's important, moved it into the documents folder. And that's what the kind of stuff that we're going to be doing. If I want to keep this, then keep it. Where do you keep it? In the documents folder, not in the downloads folder. The downloads folder is transitional. Okay. But that's right now, we're just going by size again. And so by the default set is by size, and we go, oh, by size, this is what I have. And whoa, really? I have this file in here. I really don't need that file anymore. Okay, let's get rid of it. So you could get rid of some, right? Et cetera, et cetera. So this is how you look at this. So here's an image file. Let's see what image file is. I go spacebar. Oh, it's a file. It's a photo of here of this room that I took. Okay, I took a photo of this room. Do I really need that file? No, I can delete it. Okay. So that's what you find in your downloads folder. Now I'm gonna, again, tell you how to deal with where these go. As soon as we tackle the Finder, which I'm looking at the time frame, and I'm pretty sure that after all this explanation, we're gonna put hands to the dough on Tuesday, okay? So for now, relax. Unsupported, we might get to it this evening. Unsupported apps, this computer has none. But this is another place where you would find, remember I told you that in applications, if you saw here that said unsupported, you would find them. Well, guess what? You would also find them here. So if there's any left that are in there, you would find them here. Nothing here. Containers, nothing there. File browser, we're gonna ignore that right now because that's kind of what I mean by the Finder of the file browser. So right now, well, actually, let's go to file browser and let me show you. These are the rooms your computer comes with. Remember I said the computer comes with certain amounts of rooms? These are them. It comes with the downloads folder, with the desktop folder, with the pictures folder, the music, movies, documents, and public. These are the folders that, this is, you buy a house, it's got 5 rooms. These are the rooms that the computer comes divided into. And certain things go into them and only certain things. And that's the main goal we have in here. Make sure your stuff goes into the right place.
I don't have container file,
Yeah, it
so
doesn't
that
matter.
might be Catalina versus.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so don't worry, if something
Okay.
is not there, don't worry. As I said, it's different versions of different individual. My other computer doesn't have it either. My other computer only has large downloads, unsupported, and file browser. It doesn't, my other, so yeah, no problem. So this is the stuff your computer comes with. Now, in my other computer, pictures, downloads, movies. So let me just show you. So remember, this computer says downloads, desktop, pictures, movies, documents, public. Remember, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? That's what it says. All right, let me stop that share and show you my other computer. My file browser on this computer. Whoa, it has less stuff. It only has pictures, downloads, movies, music, and public. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's missing how many? 2. The 2 really important ones that are missing are documents and desktop. Documents and desktop. Now, for those of you who took my intro to the Mac class, we spent hours explaining about those 2 folders, documents and desktop. It might have been one ear out of the other. We'll talk about it again, but those 2 folders are in one of my computers and not in the other. Why? This is crucial. In one computer, my files are in the cloud. In the other computer, my files are on my computer. So in this one that I'm showing you right now, my files are in the cloud. Thus, I do not see my desktop and documents folder showing up because I cannot handle them from in here. I can through the Finder, but not through this extension manager. So this computer is set up so that all the files are in the cloud. And God, I wish I knew which day or 2, because I spent so many days talking about this in the first class for you guys who missed the first session, the intro to the Mac. I wish you guys.
The cloud.
I talked so much about the cloud.
That was kind of early.
The cloud drive was, no, it was maybe the 3rd or 4th class of the 6 classes of the intro to the Mac. So I'll talk about it again, but if you guys want in depth, I'd have some time where you can watch those videos. Other than that, we'll explain right now. But right now, what I want you guys to all answer, and I see Julie, your hand. I want to clean your
Yes.
responses, and I want everyone to answer. One second, Julie. I'm saying I see your hand, but hold on. Everyone need to answer. If your computer file browser shows up like this, where you do not see desktop and documents, so you have 5 folders in here, give me a yes on your reactions. If, on the other hand, your computer shows you 7 folders here, including desktop and documents, right there, then give me a no. I want the whole class divided into yes and no. And if you don't know where we are, we're in the manage section, documents, file browser. And that's how we are here. So if you don't know where you are, raise your hand so I can help you.
No for 7.
No for 7. Yes for 5. And yes for 5, no for 7. And then go to raise your hand if you have no idea where I am asking you to look for this answer so that I can show you and point you to the right place. Okay. I know meanwhile, I'm going to let people answer that, but Julie had a question, so I'm going to see if it's something I can answer without confusing people. Meanwhile, go ahead and give me yeses or no. Yes, Julie, is it very different?
I'm trying to get back to where my, under the downloads for recent, I have Zoom-4.pkg. That was for October. And then I have Zoom-2.
So hold on, Julie. Hold on. I'm not going to deal with individual files right now. I did actually answer one of yours, but hold on, because I want us to first understand this. By today, we might not end up deleting files that are old, individual ones like this. We might get to it on Tuesday. I have 15 minutes to the cloud. I might get to that. But I first want to clarify what's happening here with the cloud. Then I can begin to answer the questions like that one. So write it down, hold on to it. Okay, and then I'll help you with that question. We will get to that, but we're not there right now, and I want to finish this idea. So keep that question written down for when I deal with individual files. Yes, Rod?
When you click on these, it becomes highlighted. Does that mean you can then start typing and you'll type over that, or they're not changing?
No. So go ahead and try it yourself. Browser right there. So it's just showing the stuff. There's nowhere to write.
Okay, but when I click on this, can I now type?
No,
And say, okay,
there is no, it's just showing you. It's a good question, actually. This thing is just showing. It's like you're putting your microscope on to your computer or telescope. I don't know which one would be right. And it's showing you stuff. It's showing you what's in your computer. It's not a place to actively create or delete or anything. This tool, the manage tool from this place, from this little guy here, when you hit the manage, it's like saying, okay, let's explore and find out where stuff is, but it is not an active place to change. You can delete stuff, but you can't say, oh, well, let me move this from here to there. That's why when I went to download, I said, there's stuff here that shouldn't be here. It should be somewhere else, but I didn't tell you how to move it. For that, we're going to go to the Finder window, okay, to the file browser. But right now, we're like going, oh, because certain things, especially the big stuff, can be easily handled from here. But then the minutia, well, let's put this here, let's put this there, let's do that. That we're going to do ourselves in the Finder window, right? Which is, as I said, probably we're tackling it straight on the minute we are right here on Tuesday, we'll start handling them, but not from this tool. Because this tool is it's like reports of your computer. It's an overview of where's my stuff? Where's the big stuff that I really don't need here? Where's the old stuff that's unsupported here? Okay, get rid of all of that and boom, I've just deleted 5 gigabytes from my computer. Good, now let's start to take the butter to the kitchen, the toothpaste to the tooth, organizing. But right now what we did is we went, I have a smelly old couch, so I'm gonna put it out on the street. Okay, we're just getting rid of the junk. So that's what this is. And to have an idea of what stuff is necessary or not. That's what this tool has been. So yeah, good question. No, we don't write in here. We don't operate from in here. We just see things. And what I just asked you to see, which I now see most of you have finished answering yeses or nos, is do you see 5 folders? Or do you see 7 folders? Do you see the desktop and documents or do you not? So if you saw them, if you saw 5 folders, you were supposed to say yes. Okay, so give me a yes on your reactions if you see 5 folders. And give me a no if you see 7 folders. And now I'll explain to you what 5 folders mean versus 9 folders mean. Barbara, your hand is up, but is it a question specifically about this? And if not, hold on to your question. Okay, then give me a yes or a no for now, Barbara, and then write down what this question was. Because now I'm gonna answer that. Okay, so Marta, on your computer, do you see 5 or you haven't answered yet? Maybe you click on it again. If you click on it again, then it turns off. So click on it one more time. Okay. I'm seeing that Becky has something about desktop and a desktop copy. We'll have to deal with it. You not sure how to get back there. Barbara, are you there now or is that from before? You don't know how to get here? You did answer me, I think. Okay.
I don't know how to get to where you are to be able to answer.
Can you go into the chat? And not into the reactions.
General. All right.
That way your window appears for me. Look at my screen here. This is what's happening. Then I see yeses and nos for the class. And then I can start talking to people. So I need to see it there. Okay. So guys, here's the answer. Everyone who said yes, which right now is Barbara, Mary, Carol, Annette. I don't have an answer from Owen or Becky, do I? Oh yeah, no, down there. Owen and Becky, because they have 2 computers. So you guys said no. So it looks like we only have 3 or 4 greens. Okay. And 1 second. And this one of my computers is a green. So I'm gonna answer yes on that one for myself. That means that you do not see the desktop and documents here in your file browser. I'm going to change my screen, and that means that your browser is showing up, your responses is showing up like this. If you said yes, okay, then you see only pictures, downloads, movies, music, and public. That means that your desktop or documents are in the cloud. So the 2 folders that are missing, desktop and documents, that's the names, are in the cloud. They're in the iCloud. You have put your documents in the cloud, and I believe you had put yours in the cloud.
No, but that's my computer. Okay, so here's what it's.
Do I answer you? What?
Do I answer your question?
Reactions.
Shit.
Click on reactions yet, and then say. Okay. All right. So this means that all your stuff that is in your desktop or documents is not living in your computer. So even though you thought that all the files that you on your computer, you thought they were on your computer, they're actually in the cloud, in the iCloud drive. Okay. So if this is you, your stuff is in the iCloud drive. So Linda, your stuff, I didn't see your answer. Let me see. Yours is not. Okay. So your stuff is in your computer. So it's interesting because as time goes by, normally I have found that more than half of the people's stuff is in the cloud, and well, I know that everyone who's here at school is answering no from the computers at school. But if you have your personal ones, I'm surprised to see that there's a majority of people who have your stuff on their computers, because last 2 years, it's always been the other way around in my classes.
Stop it.
Your class is an anomaly. Your class is an anomaly. If you've answered yes, no, someone took off their yes, so it's only 2 people now. It's only Barbara and Carol. Jim, I don't see an answer from you. And Pam, where's your stuff?
I can't. I do not know
All right.
how to
That's all
reply.
right. There's a reaction.
I'm in the chat. I'm ready to type it.
Because it's not in the chat.
Okay.
Go to click on this again.
Right.
Scroll me over. You light it up. Then you see their reactions.
So it's
And
not
then it's,
share.
yes, they're not.
Ah,
Here's the yes, okay, and then when you do want to.
There's a lady that keeps grunting.
This is not.
Oh, okay.
It's this one. So I know, it's the same question.
Okay.
So that's all. So
So then I-
Before you get this frustrated, call me over, because I'm right next to you. Right, because then it's hard to learn more when you're, so remember, you guys, everyone who's here, don't get to the point that you get upset, call me over, I'm right here. People at home, raise your hands, I'm right here, I'm available to help you, I don't move on barreling through, but I need to also get your help in letting me know that you're getting lost. And I kind of had this whole conversation about that in the past. You guys who have been here in my classes before, I spent a whole time at the beginning talking about that. But because of Zoom and whatever, I can't say that. Anyone who's here, you definitely, your commitment to the class, and you guys at home too, your commitment to the class is to not leave it frustrated and to let me know you need help. I cannot help you if I don't know you need help. Maybe at home. If you don't really like raise your hands, I can't tell you're so frustrated. Here I can maybe see your faces, right?
Stay in the chat.
If you're here, just raise your hands, yeah. What's that?
I said you saw my face Tuesday, I was panicked.
Yeah. If I look up and I see your faces, but I used to be much more responsive, but now I have to look at people in the chat, people in the room, people in whatever, and I'm noticing that sometimes I miss the initial,
The nuance.
and by the time I get to you, you're already upset. So do your part and let me know before you get there, right? Like ahead of time.
I think we're gonna have just classes,
In the what?
just regular classes, instead of having the Zoom.
We're seeing, it's just that at this point, whenever I polled a lot of people, everyone still preferred to be online. So me making it happen here was me saying there's people who are needing to be in person that have been missing classes. And so I'm doing this, which is harder for me and for everyone in one sense, but otherwise you guys wouldn't be having it. They would be having it, which is what's been happening for 2 years, because you got to go where most of the students are. And right now, most of the students are online. So if we get to the point that this class begins to get more full, I might be able to do 2 different ones, one for online, one for in person, but we need more students for that. We don't have enough students. We can't run a class with this many students, it would have canceled. With that many students plus this, the class runs, right? So we need to get more people involved, and then we go, oh, there's a waiting list of 15 people. Well, let's open one for Zoom and one for person. So we just need to get the word out and more people. And then, yeah, definitely. All right. So guys, Jim, you didn't answer yet. Where is your stuff, on your computer or online?
Well, I did answer twice. Can you hear me?
Oh, I see. You entered in the chat again. Guys,
Yeah, okay.
please answer using your reactions. If you don't know how to use your reactions, go to the toolbar, like move your mouse over Zoom, and you should see like
Oh, reactions?
you turn the mute and stuff like, and on the far right, you should see the word reactions, or it might be hidden under the more. And then give me a yes if you see only 5 folders that you do not see Mac and desktop and documents, and then give me a no. All right, and then Marcia says you can't answer. You said you were on your phone, right? Is that probably why you can't answer? So you can't tell. All right.
Got it.
Good. So now there you go. And the reason I need to see that, I wish I could show it to you. The guys here see it, but when you see the whole class as a gallery, now I'm seeing reds and greens, and like I can answer as a group and saying, okay, you guys who have 3, you guys who have 4, versus if I go to the chat, there's lots of individual answers and I can't necessarily parse it from there. All right, so green people, your stuff is on the cloud. Red people, your stuff is on your computer. And as much as I spent a lot of time talking about this before, I don't want to tire you with this, but I want you to understand that if you guys have your stuff only on your computer, you could lose all your stuff if your computer dies. So you for sure need to make a backup. The thing I talked about at the beginning, where you have to buy another file and back up your stuff because your computers die. Computers die, guys. Everyone here probably has some experience at this point of having, not themselves or hearing the story of some person whose computer died and you lost everything. You will lose everything if stuff lives on your computer and nowhere else. Okay, so people who have their stuff on their computers, the people who answered red, the people who have all of their 7 things showing up in their file browser, Your stuff lives only in your computer. Not a problem, but you have no backup. If stuff dies, then you need a time machine. Now, I know some of you guys already have a time machine because you've taken my classes before. So you're already backing it up. People who are new to this class will learn to back this stuff up. So then suddenly it's like, phew, now I have two things and one could die, one could not, but I am safe. Unless your house is in an earthquake or in a mud flow zone or in a hurricane area, you know, all those wonderful natural disasters that we tend to be with, in which case both your computer and your external hard drive both disappear in the flow of water, in which case your stuff still disappears and dies. On the other hand, people whose stuff is on the cloud, which is all of those who said yes, your stuff will still be on the cloud even if your computer dies or if your backup dies. The stuff is still on the cloud. So it's like a second place that's outside of a physical location. Thus, it's got a plan B for physical disasters, for protection. Yeah, maybe you have a fire, or maybe someone comes in and steals the stuff from your house, or you move and it was left in some box that never moved with you. Who knows? Things happen. Physical stuff is everyone who had a no. Your stuff is physical. Physical stuff dies, gets lost, cracks, or gets broken. Or maybe nothing happens because, hey, you are blessed and nothing happens and your stuff is always fine. Plan B, if your stuff is also online, it's got a possible physical backup, non-physical backup, so to say, that you can be anywhere. Your stuff can disappear and it goes away. But the second thing I just said, you can be anywhere and access your files. So Pam, Carol, and I on this computer, which are the only three people who have a yes right now, can be in Argentina visiting my mom, in New York visiting your daughter, and you can still access your files. Versus everyone who said no, your files are at home in your laptop, in your desktop, you didn't bring with you. If you brought your laptop with you, then you're fine. Your files are with you, but if you forgot it in the airplane, then your files are not with you. So, you know, anyone whose stuff is online can access their files from any location in the world that can get access to the internet. Versus those of you whose stuff is on your computer are kind of lock and chained to your computer for your stuff. Again, good or bad, I'm not saying that one is better than the other. I'm explaining the facts. For some people, one is better for some people. I just need you to know the facts.
Is there a pro? I mean, why did they build them like, right? You know, not that long. Why would they build it to give you the extra option?
At this point, the world, the business world, kids, schools, just about anything that has to do with the world of not personal stuff, everyone has everything online. Everything has everything in the cloud. So like students can be at home, can be at school, can be in a park, can be at Starbucks, and they have their files to work with because their stuff is not physically connected to their files. And it starts from a young age. My kids got an iPad given to them when they were in 5th grade or something like that. It's the schools, they have to return it, but meaning all their stuff, all their files, all the corrections, all the teachers are correcting with everything is submitted online, read it online. Those kids have gone through school, they're now in the workforce. They don't know any different. Why in the world would you have stuck to something physical? I can, you know, my stuff is up there. I can go anywhere. My stuff is available. So those people in the workforce is working that way too, because especially the last 3 years of the pandemic. Oh my God, if anyone was still holding on to being in location-based, they had to put all their stuff online so people could work from home. I'm talking about work now. So basically the world's data is online now. Few people still have their stuff just living on their computers because it's mobile. You can be in Tibet and have to answer and finish a report before you climb the Everest. I'm exaggerating only a tiny bit, okay? So the why is because that's the way the world is working. If you buy a new computer, And the Mac people set it up for you. They set it up so that your stuff is online. They don't even ask you anymore. If you've had a computer that grandfathered in all the stuff from the past, then it's still on your computer, right? So you can make a choice though, to switch it to being online or switch it to being at home. And again, those of you who took my Intro to the Mac class, which is about 80% of this class, we've talked about this at length and you've heard a lot of the pros and cons. So again, listen to those recordings so you can understand much more about this, because I really can't reteach all that. But most importantly, the whole point is, what do you want to do with your files? And so now as we keep working, I'm going to keep working, teaching you how to organize your files and stuff like that. But today's discovery is, oh, my stuff is actually on my computer. Oh, my stuff is actually on the cloud. Beyond that, what we're going to do to organize it is exactly the same, right? Your documents happen to be in the cloud, but you will see them as if they're on your computer, and you will handle them. You will make folders for them, organize them in exactly the same way if they're in the cloud or as if in their computer. It's just that they're in a different place. And in the someone talking? No,
Husband and wife to turn off.
but I can't tell who. I'm sorry.
It's the top.
Oh, Bart.
She
Okay.
needs to turn the
No,
volume.
she's muted. Barbara's muted. It's not her.
Not Barbara, it's the lady who had the husband. You were making them.
I don't know. Okay. All right. If you're making noises, be in the, or talking in the background, please mute yourselves. Okay. All right. So as we continue with this conversation, people who are in the Intro to the Mac class already made a choice to switch or not to switch. They had that choice. Now we're just going to be organizing stuff. But if you're still with the question of, hey, I'd rather have my stuff online, or I'd rather have it in person, ask me in the next few weeks and I can tell you how to switch. 90% of the case, it's very easy to switch from home to online. That's very quick. What's not so quick is to switch from stuff that's already online down home. That takes much more work. So if you're one of those, that's a different conversation. But if what you have is everything on your computer and you want it to go online, that's easy to do. I thought we had done that on your computer. It wasn't you?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I switch, can I still access the stuff through this search, if it's up in the clouds.
Yeah. So when your stuff is in the cloud or in the computer, it's exactly that you access it the exact same way. So that we're going to start working next week. So I'm going to be conscious of the fact that I'm 2 minutes over. So if you need to leave, please leave. But Barbara's been having her hand up for a long time. So you're next, Linda. But let me just say, because for those of you who need to leave right now, because I'm already 2 minutes past the time and you have to leave, consider the question of where your files are. If you want that to be different or not, is just about what I said before, whether you can access them from different places in the world, or you can access them if your physical devices die or crash or get old. That's really the main difference, because if you decide to keep them on your computer, you can still back them up on another physical device, or if they're online, they can stay online and you will see them on your computer. So it doesn't, what we do next week is handling them. And the question here is, can I still handle them in their own cloud, or if they're in it? Yes, the handling of them is identical. Yeah, identical. In fact, a lot of people had no idea their stuff was in the cloud, because you look at your computer and they look like they're there, but they're really on the cloud. So don't worry about the handling. When we start handling them next class, it'll be the same for all of you guys. They'll just go to store themselves in a different location. So you decide over time, if as I keep speaking, you prefer one or the other, tell me and I'll tell you how to switch that. But right now, what you have shown me is what you have, which is most of you guys have your stuff on your computers. Let me get to Barbara's question now. So anyway, that's it. I'm going to try not to teach anything new, whatever questions get asked. If later you want to review the last minute recording, other than that, I'll see you guys on next Tuesday. And yes, Barbara.
You know, I don't know how to get back to where you are. I know my documents are on the cloud, but that brings back a question. I was wondering if when I type up a document and I save it, it actually goes to the cloud. It doesn't go to my computer. Is there a way to have it go to my computer and have it go to the cloud? Other than time, if I put it in my computer, Time Machine would put it in the cloud.
Yeah, no,
that right?
this is, ask me this question again next week, because this is exactly what we're going for, but no, when you put it in the cloud, it's also in your computer. Okay, it's not in two different places, so hold on to that. I don't want people to get confused by her question. Your stuff doesn't have to go in the cloud and in your computer as two separate things. What's in the cloud shows up in your computer and it is one file. So if your file is your novel that you're writing and you're in the cloud, that file looks like it's on your computer. You open it, you close it, you save it. It's on your computer as well as in the cloud, but it is one file. It is not two files. Versus,
But how do I get to where I'm looking at your screen and I cannot get there?
Okay, so, all right, so this is, let me share my entire desktop and show you again. How I got here is I went to Apple About This Mac,
Right?
and then I went to storage,
Okay, wait a minute. Apple, About This Mac, and storage.
and then manage.
I remember doing that. Okay.
That's it.
And
And then
manage.
documents. We were looking at all the documents and we were under file browser.
Okay.
All right, Jim, I see your hand, but Linda here had her hand up earlier, so
My
yeah.
iPad and my iPhone are iCloud enabled. Do I just put this back to this laptop? It's new. The iCloud drive is going to just hit enable.
Oh, give me a second. Yeah, because this is.
Applications, documents, iCloud.
Yeah, that, different places. I told you before in a different place, but that would be one place to go. Should I just give you that?
See the choice? Yeah, should I look at the first before I do it?
No, this is the.
This will work.
Last time I tried to do it, it's in front of me. This time you're doing it here. It's the same. It's the same exact thing. Yeah. Hold on, let me answer Jim's question. Yes, Jim?
Okay, my question was, and this goes back to the very beginning of class. I was trying to, the first day it worked. I was trying to access your class on my desktop and then open it up on my laptop as well. And I, could have you going, well, anyway, when I try to go to Zoom on my desktop, I put in the meeting number and password and it doesn't work. So
there must be some test. Here's the thing. Go
Does
to
it
my
only-
email,
Okay.
click
have
on
to
the
go
link
to-
in my email, and that'll connect you directly.
So I can do it on both computers, but I just need to
Yeah.
send the email over to that desktop.
You can't get your emails from the desktop. You don't know how to get your emails from your desktop.
Well, that's a different desktop. It's,
But I can show you. That's what I mean. Because what desktop is it?
Come back to me.
okay, no, that's no problem. Okay, so that's the only way. And
No, it's
then,
not the only way. I have not tried to access, so maybe I should go in and see if that password, I'll go and check. Let me actually.
the
here.
meeting number and password, yeah, that doesn't work.
So
I've tried it several times.
here's the meeting ID. I'll put it in the chat again. Check and see if it's the same one I have in my email. If not, I'll have to fix it.
And
So,
then
I don't.
I guess the other question is, you guys are doing, well, I'm working fine with the class, but I keep having to minimize and then open, minimize, because I'm not able to have two screens on this small of a computer,
Yeah, so that's why
Another
since you have two
computer.
computers, it's better to have me on one showing you stuff
Yeah,
and you working
Yeah.
on the small one. Otherwise, you end up having to, move things around because it's too small to do
Okay.
much on a little computer. So that's the meeting ID that I just put in there. And then your passcode
iCloud.
would be this one. Can you see if that's what's in the email? If not, I'll have to go check. But those are the numbers
okay,
for this meeting.
OS.
good.
I don't know, I would have to open my email right now because.
That's okay.
which
I'll
I
try
can't
it.
Just
I'll
a
try
minute.
it Tuesday morning and try it.
actually see. Well, hold
Well-
on, let me actually see.
What
can
should I
go.
have over there?
Actually, I can go to my. One second.
Document.
I can go to my email and compare because that's important. If you did try.
Downloads movies, music. Download music, movies.
um, So here's where I
Where's
have
my application?
7, 8, 59211133 5588808. Yeah, that's the ID and passcode. So basically access it from the link because that is, those are the correct numbers. So that are the same ones that are that I just posted from this meeting itself. So it's like correct because the meeting is showing me its numbers. So those are the correct ones. So
Okay, good.
it's just easier to click on the link and go in there directly. You know?
Okay,
Diane,
Okay.
um,
Yes, Barbara?
I have like documents is in both places. And
Yeah.
I have quite a few, I have way more things than is showing on yours.
Yeah, so if your documents in both places, this is really in the cloud. And so it's not that it's in both places, you have two shortcuts that take you to the exact same place. If you go from one to the other, you'll see that it's the exact same documents.
And my system data is on the left under
Let me
the.
stop for a minute, Barbara, because people are leaving here. Hold on, guys. Whoever's leaving, you need to sign out. Can you go tell them? I need to teach them to sign out. It's okay, no, I'll teach them next time. But people were leaving here first physically, and I was trying to stop them, but anyway, that's okay. Sorry, Barb.
That's okay. I just thought I was really together on my computer and I'm thinking now I'm not.
No, your stuff is in the cloud. And that's why you're seeing two links to the same documents folder. But if you click on one and click on the other, pay attention, it's exactly the same stuff. It's just, you have an extra shortcut to it. That's all. But it's not.
Okay, I just have documents on the left. It's not on the right. But I have well, what was it?
At this point, unless you share your screen, I don't understand what else you want. Yeah, I just
Create
want-
a cloud
Give me a second,
file.
give me a second, Barbara. I'm helping some
Sure.
people. first.
I'm talking to myself now.
Just to protect your stuff. I mean, after a while, it'll just disconnect from you. But I want to show you next time, remind me before you have to leave. I need to show you how to sign out of your account. So that when you come, like, no one's gonna come in and sit in there, but otherwise, it's like you're leaving your computer open with your stuff. School stuff, but it's not. You how to sign out. We used to.
Mac OS.
Sign out.
It says log on.
Those one.
It says log on.
Yeah, so anyway, next time I'll show you.
It's more than log off.
You logged off?
Yeah.
Okay, so did you log off too?
Yeah.
Okay, good, then that's fine, then I had some, okay.
So we're
Good, And then it's Pam who left that didn't get fish. Yeah.
You know.
Thank you, escape, whenever they're in too big, you can escape. Got to. Okay,
Now I can just shut down.
now you can, yeah.
Oh,
All right, so Barb, I'm sorry, there were some issues here. in
That's
person.
all right.
How to log out while they were leaving. All right, so did you want to share your screen to tell me what your question? is?
Sure,
Okay, go ahead.
Sure. Share screen. Share. Okay, that's what I've got
Did
there.
everyone sign in today? Perfect. Yay, some people.
Oh, I'm so thirsty.
And Maria, whose kid, she had taken to the doctors, but she'll be here too, so it'll be 8 of us in here. Like, I'm just-
Oh, I get my car fixed. Has to be overnight, so I'm gonna have to mix it.
Oh, well.
I
Just
can
watch the
always
recording.
watch the-
Mhm. All right, so what's your question? I'm looking at your screen. Yeah.
But
What's your-
does it look right? You know, my system
my system data is on the left below the line.
Yeah, all that stuff you can't access. That's why it's grayed out and it's under that line. That's good. That's logical and perfect.
Okay, one of my question is does it look good? How's the picture look?
Oh, it's interesting. You have your, under file browser, you have desktop pictures, downloads, music, movies, applications, acts in public, but you also have the Creative Cloud files, which it's just because you're part of you have a Creative Cloud account. Now, why do you have 3 of them is, can you click on one of them?
Sure.
The rest
Just
is not.
single?
Just
Single click?
Single click. And I'm gonna see what it says underneath. It took you to Cloud Documents. Can you scroll back a little bit? Creative Cloud Documents, click on click on the right side where it has your Creative Cloud Documents. Yeah, click a little bit. Yeah,
Here?
click on that. Yeah. Web internet location, October 11th. Okay, go back to the other one. Click on the next one. I want to see if they're all the same. Oh, there's one Creative Cloud files. Okay.
Just give you my.
You know what? You can grab that line in the middle and bring it and make it much smaller. No, go to the right. Wait, go to the middle in between. Yeah, in the bottom.
Right
That's little, yeah, make it smaller so you don't have to keep going back and forth. Okay, good. So now single click on the top one so we can discover where it is.
This
On
one?
On the right side. No, on the right side. That one says August 2021. So this one's much older. The other one was newer. Okay, and then go back to the first one. And then go to the third choice.
This one?
Yeah. And then click on that top one. And this one is October 5th, 2021. So it looks like your active one is the top one, which has 2.8 megs in it, and the other 2, which only have 3 megs in it, are
This
really
one?
old. So yeah, so that one looks like it's your active one that you maybe have some documents in there. The other 2 look like one, when you open it up again, down that column, one said pipeline and one said Gmail. So go down again to make the window bigger so you can see. No, the column bigger, so you can see.
But
that.
this one here?
Yeah, go down to the column that I had told you to make.
Okay,
Because you see how one says Barbara Walsh at Cox.net and the other one's Barbara Walsh at Pipeline.
yes.
But one says BBC Pipeline versus SBC. It should be SBCC at Pipeline. So that one's all wrong. The second one's all wrong. That's not your email address. Your addresses would be at pipeline.sbc. The second one. Second one
This
should
one?
be at SBC at pipeline.sbcc.edu. So that one's even wrong. So you should probably.
So should I move that to the
Yeah,
trash?
move that one to the trash, yeah. Yeah, and then the first one looks like it's, the second one might be your right email, but it hasn't been accessed since 2021. So I don't know, you might have stuff under that account,
Was that one, this one?
August 23, 2021. I don't know what it is or isn't. I'll let you explore if you have an account, a Cox account with.
I do, that's that's what got hacked and then my bank account and everything. I'm still dealing with it.
Okay, so leave it there, and then that one, the top one, seems to be the one that was just accessed because it had a recent date. You click on the iCloud on the right, it had a recent date. It said October 11th, 2022. So if you're using it, that's probably your
And that,
recent one. So leave that there, and I don't know about the second one. So that one.
it wouldn't hurt to delete this one, would it?
It says 2.8. I don't know if there's anything in there or not. I don't know if it's an account that you use, your creative account.
Well, the
The
Barbara
data
Walsh,
account? Or is it, what account are you?
it's Barbara Walsh, it says Barbara Walsh at Cox.net, which would be my email, and I'm getting rid of it because it got hacked from somebody in Florida hacked it and got into my money.
Yeah, I told you that it's the second time I hear that. It's so frustrating. If you move it to trash, I'm not sure if you have any files there that you'd be moving. Do you keep files in the iCloud, in the Creative Cloud?
Well, the ones that go up there, some of them go up there automatically. I thought, but
No, you have to choose where to save stuff. When we take in the Photoshop class, I'll show you how to choose where it goes.
But I think I could delete it. I don't think I
Okay,
would
then-
have a
then do
problem.
so. But I don't, I just want to make sure. that you don't have stuff in there. You have two, which is weird. The
Well-
top one we know is correct because it's the new one and this one you haven't used for a year. So I'd say you'd probably save moving this one to the trash and just having the top one. Yeah, there you go. So now you're fine. Now you have everything like the rest of us, except for since you have a Creative Cloud account. You see that there are other people, so you see 8 things instead of 7. But the rest of the stuff is saying that your click on the word documents.
Here,
No, in the list. Yeah, there. So it's showing you that this stuff is here on your computer.
and I don't really have much on my computer, but it looks like a lot.
32 gigabytes, which isn't much really. 32 gigabytes is nothing.
Well,
Yeah.
see, I don't even have really any photographs on my computer. It's in one
Yeah.
of the hard drives, external hard drives. It's
Yeah,
plugged.
exactly. No, this is fine. I mean, 32 gigabytes is nothing. It's fine to have that much stuff. Is not a big-
Yeah, my computer's 2 years old.
Yeah, that's fine. All right, I'm gonna stop your share.
Thank you
that-
for
you're
taking the
welcome.
time to help me with that.
All right, I want to help some people here in person, so I'm gonna sign out. Bye,
Thank
guys.
you.
See you guys on Tuesday. Bye.
Okay, thanks. Bye.